gaming, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and salutations to episode 27 of the Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast. I'm Darren Whittam, and joining me, as always, is your man and mine, the Jakku of all trades, Anthony Chesson.
Ha ha, love it. Hello, sir. How you doing?
I'm alright, how are you?
I'm not too bad. Talking of Jakku, Star Wars.
How long to go now?
Star Wars. 2 weeks. 2 weeks today, I would have seen Star Wars. Star Wars would have been in my eyes.
Wow.
Very
2
exciting.
weeks. 2 weeks like the you know Total Recall, that 2 weeks woman. 2 weeks. 2 weeks before she blows up. Do you know what I'm on about?
I do indeed, yes. It's the
Phew.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I can't wait. I'm very excited. I've got half a day. It kind of starts my Christmas holiday. I've got like a bit of a break before Christmas rather than kind of in between Christmas and New Year. And oh my goodness, Star Wars just kind of starts it. Can't wait.
No, I can't wait. I'm so hopeful that it's going to be what I dream, and I'm sure it will. I'm looking forward to your text. I don't know what you're going to say. Yay or nay?
Exactly. I'll just give you a big thumbs up, or I'll tell you what. I am just going to go there. I'm going to get the biggest bucket of popcorn, and I'm just going to sit there and just let it go. You know, whatever it is, good or bad, I'm just going to sit there and enjoy it. I kind of think it's going to be amazing and it's going to be awesome, but I'm just going to sit there and just go, you know, try and leave my expectation at the door and just go with it. You know, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, I'm not very good actually of thinking something's rubbish straight away. I don't know how you are, but especially if it's got a lot of hype, I'll sort of go in there and I sort of do enjoy it, and it's only upon reflection that I start to think I don't like it.
Yes.
You know, I think, I can't even remember seeing Phantom Menace now. I'm sure it was at the cinema. But I saw one of them. It might have been Attack of the Clones. I don't know, but I saw one of them anyway at the Odeon in Leicester Square.
Right.
You know, on opening night or something. Well, not the famous, the big opening, but one of the first nights it was opened. And the thing that did my head in about that is it's such an uncomfortable cinema. I was really surprised. Because, everyone sort of harps on it's where they have all the premieres and stuff. And it was awful. I was like, I don't like this. This was a long time ago. Obviously, it was when Attack of the Clones came out.
Yeah.
And I seem to remember it was for my birthday. And I came out, I was like, it's all right. But now I despise it.
Yes.
But at the time, it's just sort of like you say. I think it's a bit of an occasion, and I'm like that. I just enjoy what's put in front of me.
Absolutely. I think it took us...
It'd have to be really dire for me to... I've never walked out of a film.
No. I think I walked out of one film, which was maybe The Nutty Professor 2. I think there was one day where I was kind of at Blue Water or wherever I was, and it was kind of like big shopping day, and then it was like, let's go and see a movie, and there was only that available, and it was terrible. It was just like, Sato was like, should we leave? And I'm like, you're okay, and we left. But absolutely, I mean, with Phantom Menace, with me, it took, I think, 2.5 hours to realise that film was terrible. Afterwards, it was kind of like, afterwards, going, that was amazing, that was really great, and I'm like, yeah, but that bit really sucked. And then we just started breaking it down, kind of me and a group of friends, and in 2.5 hours, we were like, oh my god, what have they done? But
yeah, I think I'm like that. I think when I watch anything, probably for the first time at the cinema, it's like I'm a receptacle, and I just take in whatever's dished out. I'm just like, oh wow, and bask in the vision and the sound of it, and I'm open to it. And then, like you say, afterwards, it's like, hold on, I didn't like that character. That was nonsense. And what's that? And then all of a sudden, it's like, it's rubbish.
No, that's exactly the same. So how's your week been?
Yeah, how's my week been? It's been okay. What have I been doing? I haven't done much. I read that it was the Mega Drive's 25th anniversary in the last week.
Right.
So another anniversary. Third week, I think we've done an anniversary. 25 years old. That makes me feel rather old. I enjoyed my Mega Drive. You'll have had a Mega Drive, won't you?
I did indeed. It was a fantastic console. It had some real classics. You know what? It was the Mega Drive that started my whole kind of getting everything, because I had a Mega Drive, and then my friend had a SNES, and I had to get a SNES once I saw it. So I started that kind of dual console thing. 25 years ago, I started doing that. But
wow.
The Mega Drive had some amazing games, didn't it? It was absolutely, of their time. You've Altered Beast, and obviously Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's just some amazing games.
I loved Altered Beast. That was one of the reasons that I got a Mega Drive, and I couldn't remember that. I didn't remember that until you mentioned it. But that was great, and it was so. Excuse me. It was so near to the arcade version.
It really was. It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's like I'd played a version on the Amiga, I think, before that, and you could tell it was Altered Beast, but it just didn't work. It didn't work, and it didn't work because you were constrained to one button on your joystick. With the Amiga as well, you didn't really have a joypad. So when the Mega Drive came out and the SNES, I think that was probably the first time I'd seen a controller that adapted to multi-button layouts. Because before that, it'd always been you got a fire button on my joystick of choice was the QuickShot 2 Turbo.
Oh, fine joystick!
I like that. It was micro switched.
Yep,
and it was it had red trim on it. QuickShot 2 I didn't like because that always broke, and a lot of people resorted to the old Atari joysticks because it was the same port.
Right.
You could use the old Atari joysticks, and they're now indestructible. You could lob them against the wall. Not that I did. I'm not really an angry gamer, but they worked a lot. But they were difficult, like the Competition Pros that were also good. I found it difficult to do rapid fire with my thumb.
Right.
Whereas the QuickShot 2, because you held it like a stick in a plane. I could do with my forefinger. I used to boast about it. I was like, I can do fire on my QuickShot 2 as fast as auto fire because there was also an auto fire button, and I could go as fast as auto fire. Wow, what a claim to fame!
That was it. That was you in the school playground, wasn't it? Going, check this out.
It was, and that was just before everyone was piled on top of me.
Yeah, little Daz Whitten.
They all duffed me up for my insolence. But yeah, I loved Strider as well.
Yes,
that was a good game. Oh, Beast was a demon game.
Oh, that
Strider,
was
Golden Axe.
Yeah, Golden Axe, Mickey's Castle of Illusion.
Yeah, it was good, Sega made a console. It must have had, I don't really know the text about it, but it must have had an affinity with the specs and the hardware in it, with the boards they were using at the time. Because the Sega games that they brought to it were so good, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
In the days when Sega brought out good games all the time, really. Loads of good games in those days from Sega. Space Harrier.
Yep.
Loads of good games. No, Space Harrier wasn't that good. It was good graphics, though.
But did you have... I did. But did you have a Mega CD or a 32X?
Right. I wanted one, because I've wanted everything. And you're lucky, you see. You could get all that stuff. I couldn't. I had to migrate from a Mega Drive, or Genesis, as it was called in the States, to a SNES. So when I wanted a Super Nintendo, or a Famicom, Super Famicom, I went to that. And I had to get rid of to sell the Genesis to get the money together to get the next console. But I really wanted I saw a Mega CD.
Yes.
With that bulky sort of CD unit on the top, didn't it? And I was like, wow. And I was looking at it was in Dixon's, I think. And I think I was looking at something, what would it be? Maybe Microcosm? Or was that on that?
Could have been.
I don't know.
I think I played it Did
you have one?
I did. I had
at
one point, and I really, really wish I'd kept it. Because at one point I had I think I had the Sega CD 2, which was at the side, not underneath, it was at the side, and then I had the 32X Mushroom in the top of it, and I was just like, this is the ultimate console. I think I had like one game on both the CD and the 32X. I think I had Sonic, and the Sega CD I probably had something like Mad Dog McCree or something like that.
Oh, yes.
And it was just such a great thing. And that it may have even been, was it Batman Returns? Was Batman Returns? It might have even been. I remember playing a Batman game. I remember playing a Batman game on the Mega Drive, which was amazing. But then I also remember playing like Batman Returns or something like that on my Mega CD. I only had a few games for it, but it was just it was fantastic. At that point, I just looked at it. I was like, this is the future.
Wow. Yeah, I remember watching the sort of sizzle reel for it in Dixon's, which was a hardware shop of the day, and there was a lot of sort of FMV heavy games, and I was just like blown away by them. It was a military game, and it like you'd go along shooting some stuff in a kind of souped up asteroids kind of game, and then it had cut to the guy cockpit view, but it was actual video, and he was going, they're all over me, sort of thing. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is gaming as it should be. Turned out that most FMV games turned out to be a pile of poo, but because it had not been done before, you hadn't seen it before, and it was for home as well. It wasn't just in the arcade. It was amazing. So did you not keep it then?
No, I didn't. It was one of those ones that I haven't kept, and I'm so bummed, because I also had Star Wars Arcade, I believe it was called, I think I had that for the 32X. I remember that
was a good game.
Yeah, it was really cool. I remember they had like 32X down the side. Oh god, I'm gonna have to start googling or eBaying.
Wow, it reminds me of like the 3DO. Do you remember that? That had some good games. It had a good Street Fighter on it, and it had Road Rash. I think Road Rash might have came up first on that, and that was a rival to the CD32, which was Commodore's foray into what they called CD. What do they call it? CD-ROM media or multimedia. Multimedia was the big buzzword at the time. So they brought out the CD32, which was rubbish. It was a flop and it was overpriced. 3DO was really expensive. It was like £500. Right. CD32 was loads as well. I mean, we're talking back in like 1990 here, around about, so 1995. But I got sucked in and I bought a CDI, a Philips CDI.
Right. Did you get it for like the Aliens game? Was there an Aliens game on it?
I got it because I saw this Microcosm game, and that was a bit like Inner Space.
Right.
Where I think you were flying around inside a body, but it looked amazing because it was all video, backgrounds. The game wasn't very good, though. And Seventh Guest, which looked amazing again, but wasn't. It was actually just a puzzle game. And you could get Dragon's Lair and Space Ace on it, which I've always loved.
Right. So
I was skint at the time. I think I got a loan to get this console. It was like £500. And I got a loan, like some high interest loan to get it because I just wanted it that much. And I got it home, and then I realised that I couldn't play Dragon's Lair or Space Ace unless I bought a full motion video FMV cartridge for it. That was another. It was like 100 or 199 quid. Which I didn't have. And my mate bought one at the same time, but he had more money than me, and he got it all together so he could play the games that I bought it for, and I couldn't. And I was saddled with these rubbish games, like some golf game, which was kind of all right. And I was at home sort of playing it, trying to convince myself it was good, but I knew it wasn't.
Wow.
I knew I'd just blown the money. And I went to my mates, and we played like Space Ace and Seventh Guest, but we sort of slowly realised that we were going, yeah, this is really good and stuff, but, you know, secretly we knew. And it was like really bad, and we didn't want to admit it to each other, but after a few weeks we were like, oh man, it's rubbish, isn't it? It's just pure rubbish. Wow. But yeah, Mega Drive, 25 years old. Amazing.
Awesome console. So what have you been playing this week?
Oh, what about your week though?
Oh, my week's been really good. I've been caught up watching things like Jessica Jones. I've been watching a lot of Jessica Jones. That's kind of a new Marvel show that is on Netflix. So they put 13 episodes, the first season of that. Really enjoying that. It's got kind of the same kind of tone as the Daredevil show, and also obviously with the Captain America Civil War trailer that was posted last week. I'm hoping that maybe we'll see Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and all those kind of people in that movie as well. Really good. It's quite interesting because I'm flip-flopping between Jessica Jones on Netflix and also Supergirl on it's on Sky One in the UK at the moment, and I'm really enjoying Supergirl. I really like it. You know, it's just kind of, if you like Smallville, if you like Flash, you know, it's that kind of, don't take it uber serious, but it's a really good show, and I'm really enjoying it. And the person who plays Supergirl is amazing. I mean, her name is Melissa Benoist or something like that, and she's really good. She's really good as Supergirl, and I'm really liking it. So I'm just kind of flip-flopping between kind of a dark and gritty thing to a very kind of fluffy kind of Supergirl, and it's amazing. So I've been doing a lot of that. I've been doing very busy at work, but also doing DIY. But in between, I've been playing some games that we'll get to in a bit, but also watching a whole ton of TV.
Wow, is Jessica Jones sort of an adult kind of superhero program?
Very much so. Same as Daredevil as well. They're very much kind of an adult kind of, 15, if you will. So they're really good. They're really gritty, really cool. All set in Hell's Kitchen. So I'm hoping we're about 7 episodes in, and I'm of the 13, and I'm hoping that maybe Daredevil makes an appearance. Because one thing I've always wanted when you're watching a Marvel movie or something like that, I'd love for just superheroes to just appear, because that happens in the comics sometimes. You know, you'll have Wolverine will be on a rooftop in New York, and Spider-Man will just be there, just for a panel or two. He would just be like, it's a cold night, isn't it? And then he would just swing off.
He's just going about his business, is he? Going to the grocers or whatever.
Exactly. And there was this perfect shot. There was a shot in, and I won't spoil it for anyone, but there was a shot in Jessica Jones where she was taking pictures because she's a private investigator, and she was up a wall in between two buildings, kind of with like her feet on one wall and her back on the other wall, very high up. And I was like, how great would this be if like she just looked to the left and there was the new Spider-Man? You know, I was just like, that would blow my mind. But it didn't happen, so I just made it up myself. You know, but it was just so... No, I strongly recommend both. Like I say, Supergirl's on Sky One in the UK, it's on in the US. It's just been picked up for a full season, because I think they went with something like 10 episodes, but the company or the distributor said they wanted another 10
for Supergirl.
For Supergirl, yeah.
Okay.
So Supergirl's going to have a full 20 episode season.
Oh right, cool. And is it as good as the film?
Well, it's quite interesting, spoiler alert, but it's quite interesting because the parents, the adopted parents for Kara, is the lady who played Supergirl.
Oh wow, how good is that?
And the dad is Dean Cain.
I don't know who that is.
He was Superman in Lois and Clark.
Oh, was he indeed? Oh,
yes.
Excellent.
So I was like, it's the first shot of the show.
I love that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's great. You just see those two, and it was just fantastic. So it's really cool. So
no,
I'm liking that a lot. So that's what my week's been taken up with. Yeah,
strong female leads.
Indeed, 2 shows, very strong female leads, and they are really kicking butt.
Yeah, it sounds like it's like both ends of the scale. You've got sort of your Supergirl, which is a bit sort of not namby-pamby, but sort of for younger people. Maybe younger people could watch it, I'm imagining. And then Jessica Jones is a bit more hardcore.
Yes, absolutely spot on. You know, your Supergirl is a little bit fluffy. You know, it's kind of villain of the week, but at the same time, you know, really good. You've got Callista Flockhart, who was Ally McBeal. She is Kat Denning, she runs a media empire. And after the first episode, she seems to settle down. And because the first episode, she kind of almost plays it a bit kind of, I'm in a comic book film. I'm, you know, of old. You know, I've got to be a little bit hammy. But after the first episode, she really does settle down, and she's actually quite good. You know, I'm just like I say, I'm really loving it. So whenever I get a moment, I'm just like to Nicola, I'm like, can we put Supergirl on, please?
Excellent.
So I've caught up. So I think we've got an episode this week. So I'll watch that. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I usually don't watch anything till the season's finished because I'm too impatient. But the last series I finished watching, apart from my usual Seinfeld stroke Curb Your Enthusiasm that I seem to just watch on repeat, was Mr. Robot.
Right, yes, I haven't watched that. Is that good? I've heard good things.
Yeah, it starts off really well. It's good. It's got Christian Slater in it as well, which is pretty cool. And the main protagonist is the guy who played, he was in what's he called? Night at the Museum 2.
Right.
And he was the pharaoh or whatever. I was sort of like thinking, who is that guy? I recognise him. And then Claire was like, it's him at Night at the Museum too. And I was like, oh yeah, how weird. I could totally picture him in his little loincloth sort of thing. I had to get rid of that image quickly, obviously.
Yes.
But yeah, it's pretty darn good. It's about a guy, he's a bit of a sociopath, he's not good with people, but he's amazing at hacking. And his acquaintances, the people and his friends, the people that he likes, he sort of looks after them by hacking the people that they meet in everyday life. Like he's good friends with a girl. I think they've been friends since childhood, and so she meets a guy. He'll just hack the guy and find out, you know, things about them. So, for instance, he sees a psychiatrist and he knows all about her, and she seems dead happy. One day, this is like, it's not a spoiler or anything. She seems really happy, so he sort of hacks her a bit, finds out that she's with this guy, and so he sort of hacks this guy and finds out that he's actually married instead of the guy that he's said that he is to the psychiatrist. He's you know, he's telling her he loves her and she's really happy, and he's in a bit of a dilemma with that because he's like, oh, you know, I don't want to break a rainbow, but on the other hand, this guy's just having his cake and eating it. So he sort of tries to help out, but he ends up in sticky situations with that, where it's a bit of a dilemma on what's actually the best help. But yeah, it's really good. I don't want to say any more than that, but he hacks stuff, he finds out stuff. He's really good at it. By day, he just works in a security firm. But he's sort of against that. He's against the corporations and things and the world's enslavement to debt, and he sort of wants to free the world from that kind of thing. So he sort of despises what he does for a living, and he gets an opportunity to using his hacking skills to sort of bring down the biggest corporation in the world, and that's sort of that's the story really. That's what they're trying to do, and it's pretty good. I liked it, but I got disappointed in the sort of the penultimate and the last episodes for me. I sort of it ruined it a little bit for me, and obviously I can't say why. But if you ever watch it, it's worth a watch, and some people might really like it. But for me, I was sort of went, that's a little bit, and then referenced something else, and for me, that kind of ruined it for me. I thought it was a bit of a cop-out. But yeah, it was all right. So that was the last thing I watched, and it was okay. But
no, it's definitely on my list. It's on Amazon, isn't it? It's on Amazon Instant Film at the moment. So there's that, and also Man in a High Castle. But the way that you were describing it there, it sounds a bit like Watch Dogs, the TV show.
Yeah, it does. I think you could say that they got inspiration directly from the Watch Dogs there, yeah, or vice versa, whichever came first. Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, while we're talking about TV, I've been hearing some good reports about a show called Gotham.
Oh, Gotham's amazing. Oh, you can hear that just in my throat.
I could. Yes. Wow.
A friend of mine, Dean, and I, we watch Gotham kind of, when it's on, it used to be on every Monday, and we'd be like texting each other at the end, go, did you see that? And did you see that?
Wow.
Guys, it's really, really good. The little baby Batman is fantastic. It's really good.
Oh, wow. You see, I don't know, my standard's been set so high now. We've been spoiled with Game of Thrones and House of Cards and Homeland. They're sort of like ones that I really like. And Breaking Bad. New TV has got a lot to sort of meet. A big expectation there. So I'm not that good. I need to maybe watch a few more episodes before giving up on a series. Perhaps maybe do the old Chess 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. The 3-episode wonder, that always works. And with Gotham, you won't be disappointed because I think like the second, third episode is really good. It has a strange tone. They're introducing, they're introducing Riddler. They're introducing Penguin. I believe season 2 that's running in the US at the moment. I think they've kind of just stopped for a mid-season break in the US, and we're going to get it soon in the UK. But it's a lot about villains at the moment. So it sounds the season 2 sounds really good. But I like it. The Jim Gordon's fantastic. Alfred is played by Sean Pertwee, and he's just like a real kind of hard SAS Alfred. And it's a really good show. There's a lot of little kind of nods. If you're a bit of a Batman fanboy, DC fanboy that aren't like me, there is a lot of nods to little things. They just mention things off the cuff, which half the time I'm like, I start getting excited, and Nicola just pauses the TV and she just looks at me and goes, What was that? What was that little tip there? And I just explain what it is, and it must be really annoying for her. But yeah, no, it's a really good show. It's a really good show.
Okay, I might have to start watching that, and a few others. Jessica Jones, I'm hearing a lot of good things about. So yeah, it's good because it fills a gap because I actually didn't know what to watch next. So whenever I don't know what to watch, I ended up going through Seinfeld while I'm waiting. And so yeah, that sounds cool.
Fantastic. And also one thing to worthwhile note this week is that you put a new article up on gamersalostspark.com, which is well worth a read. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. Fantastic article by your fine self, sir, about would you want to be immortalized in VR? Very interesting article, very kind of thought-provoking article, and so well done.
Oh wow, thank you, mate. That's really nice. Yeah, would you want to be immortalised in VR? I mean, we sort of discussed it briefly when James was on the show
yes.
a few episodes ago, and I just thought I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the concept. And yeah, I think it is thought-provoking. I got one of my friends read it and sent me a big long, hi Alana, if you're there, big long message about what it made her think about, and asked me a few questions about it and stuff. And yeah, it was just that was really nice. It was really good feedback, and it's interesting. And there's a good little link on it as well to a guy that he recorded an interview when he was 18 and interviewed himself when he was 56 years old. So several years later, he sort of went back and answered the questions that his 18-year-old self had put to him. And I think you've got to be very brave to do that. But it kind of ties in with what I was getting at about sort of recording yourself in VR for other people and for just history, really, to be there forever. Yeah, so have a look if you're interested. That and leave me some feedback. That would be fantastic.
Awesome. And so, I've asked it before, but what have you been playing this week?
I know I stopped you, didn't I? We can't just have my week and not yours, Anthony. It's not right.
Hey, exactly. What have you been playing?
I've been playing... Actually, before I say what I've been playing...
Oh, my Lord, yes.
Have you... It's some Wii U... it's not really news. Otherwise, it'd be in the news, obviously. Have you been looking at the reviews and the buzz around Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U at all?
No, I haven't.
Oh, right. It's a new JRPG that's coming out on the Wii U. It's probably the only game that's coming out in this sort of big run-up, the blockbuster games run-up to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting some great reviews. It's sounding really good, and I like my RPGs. I mean, I'm too busy to get it at the moment, what with Fallout and what have you. But it's looking like it's a really good game. So if you've got a Wii U and you want a new game to play and you don't mind your RPGs, then this is a game that is really good. Apparently, from all the reviews I've been reading, they're saying it's great. It's like a great return to the JRPG. Yeah, so I just
fantastic. I've got Freedom Wars downloaded on my Vita. I've got my Vita charging right now. I'm off to Manchester for the day tomorrow. So I've got a nice kind of like 4-hour train journey. So if I can not work while I'm on the train, I'm going to be playing Freedom Wars.
Wow.
So get a really good start on it, because that's a JRPG, and I believe it's quite a lengthy one as well. So I hope to get like a real good kind of couple of hours into it.
Yeah, sort of a commute PG.
Yeah. There you go. You've just coined a new phrase.
Wow. I wish if only you were driving, but then you couldn't play it. I was going to say car PG. That would have been even better.
Awesome.
Anyway, what have I been playing? I've been playing Fallout 4 mainly.
And how are you doing? How's your adventure in the Commonwealth?
Oh wow, how am I faring in the Commonwealth? Fairly well. I'm still only I'm not that far into it. I don't think I'm level 21.
Right.
And last time we spoke about this last week, I had done one main quest in like whatever it was that I played, which was quite a lot. I think it was like over 2 days that I've been playing it. So I decided to get on with some story mode. And yeah, it's pretty good, the story. I've been enjoying it. Yeah. There was a really cool bit where you're trying to find somebody,
mm-hmm.
and you hunt down this guy who you think he was responsible for kidnapping the person, and you find him, and you don't get any information off him. I mean, maybe there's a way that you can get the information, but I certainly didn't. And then you're like, oh no, what we're going to do now? And you meet a guy, and he says, oh, there's a way that we can, like, if you've got a bit of his brain, we can go into that matter and like, look at the memories, mm-hmm. by entering sort of that physical piece of his brain. And you go and find like a Total Recall shop, and you sit down in a chair, and then you explore. It's a really good thing. I wasn't expecting this to happen in the game at all. It's really good. And you sort of regress yourself into the memories of this guy, and you do it to find out where your loved one has gone, if you can.
Yeah.
But as part of that, you start off with this guy's the earliest memories available within this piece of brain, and it's just really good because he's not just the thug or the raider that you take down in a game. It gives him that background and that characterization. Because when you sort of watch it play out, it all goes dark, and you're sort of navigating along synapses within the brain, so it's all kind of blobby and like sort of like brain tissue that you're walking on, and you see a glimmer in the distance, and it'll be a memory, and so the memory as you get closer becomes a room, and you walk in, and like for instance, the first one is a room, and he's there with his wife, and there's a baby in the cot, and you watch what happened in that memory, but you can also click on X or A if you're on Xbox, on the characters, like the baby, the guy whose brain you're in, or the wife, or even the window, there'll be different things that you can activate, and then he will elaborate on that. So you click on the little baby, only the action stops from the memory that's playing out, and he will go on and he goes, "Yeah, I can't believe I got a little baby this early. Was it right to do this in the Commonwealth?" That sort of thing. So you get a little bit of a monologue about that, and then depending, you don't have to do it, but the more you do, the more sort of you get out of it. And she's like saying, "Well, how are we going to eat and all this?" And he's like, don't worry, babe. I'll look after you. I've got some work with some guys." So you see that the way that he got into the situation was to try and protect his baby and keep his wife happy, which is he's just a family man, What about all these people that you're destroying games? Like that Austin Powers episode.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, they've all got families. They're all gutted. Like Nathan Drake's responsible for so many funerals. I think of all those families. But he sort of gives you that other side of it, which is something that's not explored very often in the game, and it gives you agency over looking over that, and you follow the trail of the synapses of the brain tissue, and eventually the pieces build, and you find out some information that's useful to yourself, but also you get more of a history about the guy. If you'd have seen that before, you might have been more sympathetic, maybe, when you confronted him in the game. Well, probably not, considering what he did. So yeah, that was something that I found was different. I wasn't expecting it in the game, and I don't know if there's more surprises like that to come. But it was just a nice, sweet part of the game.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and it's just the richness of the environment, of the map, of the multitude of things to do. The fact that I'm doing the story by choice, and I'm enjoying that. But I know that at any time I want, I can deviate off and you can just make up your own adventures. Like I was saying before, you just think as you're walking around, things will just sort of fade in on your compass. And you just think, oh, there's a structure there, let's go and see. And usually there's something going on at a structure that's actually on the map. You just think, I'll go there. Or you'll see in the distance a great big skyscraper, or you just see something odd, and you walk over there, and then you just find things that explain a story that's happened in a place, and you can try and make a difference or be reverent about it. I had a really tough time that I discussed last time we spoke about it, where I was cornered in a junkyard. And the thing that I forgot to mention was after that, when I'd sort of pacified the place, I did a bit of exploring, because I was like, oh, now it's always a great reward to be able to explore without getting shot at. I'm thinking, is there going to be a fantastic gun here? But I found this guy's terminal, and he was writing about his family. I think it was sort of pre-war, and he was sort of writing about, we've got a bunker now. I need the children to know to go to the bunker if they need to, but how do you explain this to kids who are 5 and 7 about nuclear war? And it's like, whoa, man, imagine that. And he said, so I made up a rhyme. They seemed to like it, and the rhyme gave you a clue as to where their bunker was.
Right. So
I went then searching for the bunker and found it. And then when I got into the bunker, I was expecting to get some amazing thing. There wasn't that. There's so many things like this. So they couldn't have an amazing thing in them all, because it would be ridiculous. But it's more like the satisfaction of just finding it. But inside, there was their bunker, and I couldn't find the children anywhere in there. So I don't know what happened with that part of the story. But there was a mattress in there, and on it was two skeletons sort of spooned on the mattress. Right. Sort of like, it looked like one had the arm, over as if the man had his arm over the woman, as if like, this is it, sort of thing. And it's just quite touching, because it makes you think of like those final moments and things like that in this just post or just pre Cataclysm. And it's full of touches like that. And just things around the environment that show the state of things. Just things were happening just before it all went to pot. And I think it's just part of that environment. It sucks you in. It's a universe and a world that I feel, I don't know, it touches me more than, say, The Witcher's beautiful fantasy landscapes. There's something just a bit more that touches you, or touches me certainly, about that world, even though it might not look as pretty as The Witcher, but it did it with Fallout 3 as well, and I'd forgotten about that. And it's strange, and that coupled with the tongue-in-cheek humour is such a strange blend, but it works.
Yes.
So Fallout.
I guess because it's kind of, and kind of it's kind of all kind of grounded. It's more kind of reality that you can relate to, rather than obviously, and that's it. And that's what's kind of really drawing you in, isn't it?
Yeah, because you think this could happen. Yeah, we might not have had atomic cars and things, but that sort of thing, you could imagine that kind of thing could happen, or could have happened. When the Cold War was going on, and you could have had sort of maybe a 60s apocalypse, couldn't you?
Yes.
So it's a bit closer to home, really, because of that 50s culture, which we all know about as well. That's a culture that we're in touch with. It just feels a bit closer to home. So I think it makes you sympathise and maybe empathise more with what's going on. I can see crushed monsters all over the place in The Witcher. I don't really care. Don't really give two hoots. Even though that did have some that were quite good. Some story.
I was going to say a whole load of crushed monsters. It sounds like black porn on Friday night.
You give it too much credit. Give it too much credit. It's just a beautiful game. It's really nice. And it's so good because it's enjoyable to play the story. It's enjoyable to do your own thing, and your own thing is enjoyable no matter whether you're with the building. You can just be happy just building away it's such good value. There's such longevity in it. You could build for hours. You can explore for hours. You can quest for hours. You can do your own quest for hours. You can do the main story for whatever. Probably I think that comes in about 15 to 20. And it's great. It's just a pleasure to play it. It really is. And I find I'm also playing Star Wars. I find when I'm playing Star Wars that I want to play Fallout. But I like Star Wars because I can have it's something that I don't have to commit. If I've only got half an hour or a few hours, I can have a go on Star Wars. But Fallout, it's nice to play in a long period. Which is also bad because you've got to make time around other things to play it. But to get the most out of it, you got to sort of get absorbed and immersed.
But you're right, though. It's quite nice to have kind of both of those games, isn't it? Because for me, my Fallout at the moment is Tomb Raider. I'm not trying to get through. I'm not rushing through it, but I'm enjoying it. I want to finish off Tomb Raider so I can go back and start playing Fallout 4 again. I'm listening to you and I'm just thinking, I want to play this now. I've been watching. There's been a lot of people posting. It seems to be the most popular game for posting images on the PlayStation Network or on the Xbox Live. I've seen some of my friends post some amazing things, and I want to play that. But I'm into Tomb Raider now. I've kind of committed to that, so I just want to kind of keep going. But I'm desperate to start playing Fallout because it really did make me smile when I was playing it. So I want to get back in. And like I say, just kind of listening to your stories, then it's just a game that just sounds like you could lose yourself for a weekend.
Yeah, it's great, and there's such diversity of weapons that you find, and all different pieces of kit that you can wear. And I never wear the power armor, so I don't know whether I need to, but because it's finite and you have to use a power cell, I've got 3 sets that I found around the wasteland. I stuck them all in one place, but I never go out with it. I sort of feel it's cheating, so I never wear the power armor, and that might be why I'm having such a hard time. But I'm sort of determined not to wear it. It's like as if I'm cheating, but I'm not, because it's included in the game. So I'm missing a facet there. So I may go and have a bit of a shoot, put the power armor on and go in create mayhem with the power armor, and that'll be good. Actually, I sort of forget about the power armor, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'll shut up about it now. It's good. It's brilliant. If you love adventuring and getting immersed, get involved in a bit of Fallout 4. It's a great game. It'd be a great Christmas game. It really would. What a present. Here's a present for you. And £40, £50, whatever it is, 50 hours. 100 hours, as long as you want in this universe. It's really good, like most RPGs, but it really is. It's a cut above. I love it.
Yes, yeah. So do you think? What are you? So are you going to be powering through now with the story, or is that kind of your current thing is to do that, but you might get distracted by a side mission or something shiny in the distance?
Yeah, the story's sort of got me a bit hooked at the moment, because it's sort of like one thing after the other. There's not been a good sort of bit on the current bit that I'm at where there's closure. It's sort of like keep chasing. It's like, right here, it's like, okay. Like these games where, like the thing's been split into 7 pieces or whatever. It's not like that, but it's just like you get to one place that you think you need to get to, and you find out that you get some information that leads you to somewhere else. But the way they do it, it doesn't feel like you're just following a marker. It's really good, and I don't really want to go too much into what I'm doing at the moment, but I need to find my way into a certain place, and to do that, I need to find a certain person. And the way that it's been sold to me is like that. I'm finding that I want to do that, so I'm carrying on. But I actually would prefer it to get closure on the story, so that I could go off and swan off and do my own thing a while, because then I'll get my more. Then I know that the game will last longer, because I don't really want it to end.
No. But you're right. If the story's just taking you down a path and kind of just going, right, now do this, now do that, it's quite nice just to kind of get stuck into that.
It is. It's reeling me along and it's reeling me in, and I'm happy to do it. I can't deviate at the moment because it's got me gripped. But at the same time, I sort of wish that I wasn't gripped because I don't want it to end, yeah. So it's, but what can I say? It's a great game. A great game.
It sounds fantastic. Like I say, I can't wait to kind of get back into it. It sounds so. The other game you've been playing, which we played Friday night, didn't we? We had a bit of a session on Friday night. Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, we had a great game on Friday night, didn't we? What a great night that was.
Epic session. I would a bit of a hint, I guess, or a bit of a tip is to, if you're going to play survival, especially if we did it co-op, we did a survival level co-op, we played it through on the normal mode, and it was just a little bit too easy, wasn't it? It was just kind of, that was just so we put it onto normal +1, which I think is hard in survival. I'm not quite sure how they scale it, but that was really good. We had a game on Endor, on hard, let's say, and it was just really good. It was taxing towards the end. We were kind of even as well, weren't we? I think you got more kills, but we ended up just kind of... I
lost more lives, though.
Yes, so we were just kind of... You were more kind of in there, and I was just... But it was really good fun. I was probably spent most of my time running in the other direction. But I loved it. I can't get over how amazing Endor looks in that game.
That survival we did in Endor, it was awesome. It was so well balanced, and we were tested, but we came out on top. That's the best way, isn't it, in a game? That's what you love. You like to be tested, but come out on top.
Yes,
yes. I think the only reason you died is because we're too busy just gawking at the beauty of the trees. It's like, look at this leaf. Look at this leaf. It's amazing.
Well, absolutely. It's like, you heard a noise. You turn around and you can see an ATST coming at you, and you're like, oh my god, look at that ATST, and then you realise that's shooting at you, so you need to run.
It's like, don't shoot at me. I'm trying to admire the textures.
I'm trying to admire the way you walk and the fact that this looks like Return of the Jedi, and it was just absolutely... But it was good, and you had a nice hint that there was a log somewhere that we could kind of hide in and just kind of recharge our energy as well, which kind of really worked. I think saved my bacon on more than one occasion.
Yeah, I loved it that when we were on, I think it was like wave 14 or something, and I perished, and it was like, Anthony, it's down to you, mate. If you die, we're gone. And and I just got to watch you, and you were fighting it out with like the last few on the wave. I think there was probably an ATST and a few Imperials as well. And I was on the edge of my seat watching it. It was great.
It was just great fun. There was like two. I think I got it down to like two of those flying stormtroopers. The ones with a jetpack, and they're always fun to shoot, aren't they? Because then they just go crashing into a tree. I just love it. It's just so good. It's such a great game. And then we kind of went on to all the other modes. We had a bit of a tour around the modes. What did you think to Heroes and Villains?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Something, I haven't played a mode that I don't like, really.
Right.
I haven't played a mode that I don't like. So yeah, I thought it was good. It's probably better if I don't just abandon playing because I'm too busy chatting to you.
I think we were like about 2 hours in, wasn't we, when we just started chatting, and then we ended up just kind of... I think you got kicked out, didn't you?
I got kicked out
of a session.
Too idle. I got kicked out for being idle too long, and it was bad because you think most people would think that we talk enough on air. But we in the end, I just had my pad on my knee and I was chatting. I feel sorry for our team because like the two of us were not helping.
Yeah, there's just like Boba Fett, Darth Vader, just chilling in Tatooine, chatting away.
Yeah, asking for talking about getting a beer in Mos Eisley later on.
Some of that blue milk.
Yeah, you could hear the distant tune of it was calling.
Do you know there's actually a pub in Manchester that has, it's Star Wars themed at the moment, and they have like blue milk, and they've it's all decked out similar to the Mos Eisley Cantina in Manchester. I'm very tempted. If I have an overnighter in Manchester in a couple of weeks' time, I'm tempted to just before Christmas go there because that would be such good fun.
Oh wow, that'd be so cool, man. There's a Christmas market in Manchester as well.
There is. It's up now. I went through it just the other day in the morning, and it smelt lovely. There was this like kind of cinnamony kind of Christmas smell. It was very lovely because it's on the side streets as well, isn't it? I really do. Manchester does the Christmas market really well.
I've never been.
No, it's very cool. It's very magical almost.
Wow, you could sort of tie it in. You could lure Nicola in with the Christmas market if that's her thing, and then
yes.
Star Wars Cantinari we come.
Yeah, I go, ooh, what's this door? Let's just go into this pub, knowing full well what it is.
Imagine that, like it looks all innocent from the outside, and then as you go through that, I imagine these saloon swinging doors, and you go in, it's like, it's like proper Star Wars, and they're all dressed up in the gear and everything. That'd be awesome.
And some strange-looking guy behind the counter says, we don't accept your kind in here.
Yeah, and you're looking around, what, me?
What am I doing?
My friend doesn't like you.
I don't like you either. Oh god, I don't know about you, because back to kind of what we were saying at the top of the show. 2 weeks to go. I'm gonna start watching all of the movies. I'm gonna because I don't like my eyes. I'm gonna watch 1 to 3, and then I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna enjoy the classics, Blu-ray, surround sound up on the TV. Oh, I can't wait. I'm just gonna see it, especially the last 3. Kind of 4, 5, and 6. I'm really looking forward to watching those again. I kind of have I watch Empire a lot. Empire Strikes Back. I think it's always on my iPad. But I haven't watched Return of the Jedi for a while, so I'm really looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, I've barely watched Empire and Jedi. It's strange. Star Wars: A New Hope is the one that I've watched. Always watched that repeatedly, again and again and again. So I'm missing out. So I'm going to watch more Empire and Jedi. I'm going to watch all 3 together. Mm-hmm. And this is a question for you, and maybe the listeners out there would have a comment on this. Regarding my little boy, I wanted to get into Star Wars, and he's doing okay. He's getting into Star Wars now. He's nearly 5. And so I'm showing him the films. He's not really at an age where he'll watch and understand all of one of the films yet. Yeah. But, right, this is what I'm doing. I'm not showing him 1, 2, and 3 at the moment. I'm going to initiate him into Star Wars with 4, 5, and 6. So what do you think? Do you think I'm doing the wrong thing? Do you think it should be chronological? Or do you think it should be the way that I saw them? Or that we saw them?
I think you're doing the right thing, just because the big reveal, spoiler alert, the big reveal in Empire Strikes Back would mean more.
Because you would know it, wouldn't you? It wouldn't have the impact. I never thought of it that way.
Exactly.
Of course.
If you watch 1, 2, and 3, you know it. Yeah. Because, Nicola had never watched Star Wars. So she'd watched Star Wars, she'd watched A New Hope when she was younger, but she fell asleep, and she'd never watched any of the Star Wars movies.
And you ended up together?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was one of the, before we got married, I righted that wrong. And as she said, when we were watching Empire, I'm looking at her and she's like, and the big thing happens. I can't even say it. That's how good I am. I can't even spoil that. And the big thing happens and she kind of goes, yeah, but I knew that. And I was like, as a kid, that blew my mind. I came out of the cinema and my mind was blown. I remember my brother and I, we were talking about that all the way home from the Elephant and Castle. It was like, we can't believe that's true. Because this was pre-internet, it was pre-spoilers, that, you got... And because she watched, we did it kind of chronological, which was 1, 2, 3, obviously, she kind of knew it. It was already messed up. It was already ruined for her. But... So I definitely would do it that way. But I would kind of think that 2 and 3... for a child, they'd probably enjoy that more. I could kind of see if you're a kid, 2 and 3 is probably, it's bright, it's colourful, it's stupid. They would probably love it.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, he's not. He can't have it that way. I've got to bring him up to have a, as a decent human being, and I think sort of he can watch 1, 2, and 3 later on when the time is right. I think, like you say, especially as I hadn't thought about the impact of Empire being ruined by the first 3. I was just thinking about the first 3. Because I don't like them, which is quite selfish, and I was questioning myself about who am I to make this decision. Well, I'm his dad, but am I doing the right thing, or am I doing it just because am I living in? I don't want to. Am I trying to make him live my life? Do you know what I mean? Instead of his own, and what's right? Am I making a decision because I'm old through nostalgia and a love for something because of the time I saw it? Is that making it the right decision, or is that the wrong decision? Because actually, kids these days would prefer the first 3 because they were tailored to a younger generation. Do you know what I mean? So I've been sort of questioning myself about it.
Absolutely. I've seen kids crack up at Jar Jar Binks and think he's just hilarious. And you look at them and you go, I hate you.
Yeah.
So what would you do if Sam turned to you and go, I love Jar Jar Binks, he's just like the best character in the world? Would you put him up for adoption?
I'll tell you what, I'm such a soft touch, I'd probably go out and buy a Jar Jar outfit to dress up in it.
Oh my God. He's a corner.
No, I wouldn't do that, actually. That's too soppy. But I've seen a few YouTube videos. Well, actually, I saw one YouTube video once. Let's just put this into some kind of context. And it was of a young kid. He was about 5 or 6 or 7 or something. You know, he was a little guy, and his dad or mum were filming him. The clip is him being filmed watching that moment in Empire for the first time, and his reaction was amazing. It was stellar. You know, he was like a mixture of like just almighty surprise, gobsmacked, jaw dropped, tears, gasping. You know, it wasn't like massively theatrical, you know, like going mad or anything, but it was just genuine emotion from a child. At understanding the gravity of that situation, and this is what I want. I want Sam to, but he's too young to understand it at the moment. And I'm just like, come on, I want this moment. I want this moment so much.
Grow up already.
Yeah, but then So he'll watch them, but he won't understand it. So it's weird. I also think, do I hold them back and not show them to him until he's of an age where he will understand? Because otherwise, would it be that he just watches it and it doesn't make any sense, and then when he watches it, because he's watched it so many times, it doesn't sink in? I really don't know. It's confusing to me. I just got took to the cinema when I was I don't know how old I was, and my mum took me and I watched Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back as a double bill. I was very small, and I loved it, but I was old enough to understand. I remember I was like, whoa, walked out of the cinema after Empire going, flipping out. That's a lot to digest.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, sorry, I digress. So Tomb Raider, you're enjoying it?
Oh God, I absolutely love Tomb Raider. It's amazing. It's so good. You know, I'm playing. It's quite funny. You know, similar to what you were saying with Fallout. I'm on a moment where it is the main story. I'm really enjoying the story. It's such a fantastic story. It's kind of well played out, and I'm just going through the story. So I'm going to next story point to next story point. I'm ignoring some of the other caves, which I was waxing lyrical about last week. But I'm kind of ignoring those additional bonus caves, if you will, the bonus tombs, and I'm just really into the story. And it got to a point where it was building up. I was thinking, oh, this is the end. I'll have to go back and look at those other tombs. But then it just kind of took a turn, and it's just continued going. So I reckon I'm about 75 to 80% through it, like through the main story, and it's just really good. You know, it looks incredible. It plays really well. It's very responsive. I had a bit. I played the other night. The bit that I played was from the Gamescom demo.
Oh yeah.
So I was, you know, you start off in the water, you take that guy out that was standing by the water, you take him out, and then I had to do it stealthily. And I tell you what, I was almost kind of channeling my inner Daz, because there was a couple of points where I got noticed, and I could have continued on, but I really wanted to do that super stealthy. You know, I didn't want to shoot my gun. I wanted to be able to sneak round, you know, throw a bottle over there to distract guards. So a couple of times I got spotted. I just got killed and just restarted it again, and I really enjoyed it. I think it took me about 4 times, but then I managed to do the whole thing, you know, really kind of hiding, jumping up into trees. It's just really good, you know. It was just absolutely fantastic, and that's such a great level as well. And so yeah, no, I can't get enough of Tomb Raider. It's a game that I want to. It's a lovely place to be, because I want to finish Tomb Raider so I can play Fallout, but at the moment I'm just between Tomb Raider and Star Wars. I'm having just so much fun.
It's a great place to be, isn't it? It sounds great. Have you done the ice bit that we saw in the mountains that was all exciting?
I think yes. I think that's very early on. That's kind of there are ice bits throughout the game, but because you're kind of in Siberia. But I think that bit that was in the trailer, or in the first E3 reveal, that was kind of very early on. So I've kind of done those set pieces that they've shown, but there are a lot of set pieces.
Good. That's what I was going to ask. I like set pieces.
Absolutely, you know, where I left it after that stealthy bit, I left it on quite a big puzzle, and I really liked it. There was 3 things that you had to do. I love the way we talk vague but try and describe things. There was
some stuff.
Well, yeah, there was some stuff that I had to do with some things. So there was 3 things I had to trigger, and water's involved, and all things like that. And you really had to think about it. I did 2 very easily. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll do that. The third one really made me kind of head scratch, and I didn't want to go online. I didn't want to go for a walkthrough, which I probably would have done if I hadn't had that kind of light bulb moment. I probably would have, because at that point, you know, there is a fine line, isn't there, between this is really intriguing, I love this, to okay, this is annoying now. So, but there was just some really good kind of, like, you know, switches and pulleys and and just all of that sort of thing. And it was really good. And the payoff after you did this bit, there was in kind of big tomb, a big statue. People who are playing it will know what I mean. But when you get to the third bit, the last bit, the payoff was just really, really fantastic. Like I say, I'm trying to play it as stealthy as I can, but there have been a couple of bits where all you could do is, kind of make Molotov cocktails or fire a machine gun. But luckily, it's obviously you could play the entire thing that way. Like when I was stealthy in that section, there's probably about 10 or 15 guards that I could just, go uncharted on it and start just hiding and shooting. But I didn't. I chose to go stealthy. But it's a great mix. Really good game. I highly recommend it.
Sounds great. It's on my Christmas list.
It will be a fantastic Christmas game. I think it would definitely kind of one of those ones where you can really kind of sink your teeth into.
Can't wait.
So let's start the news section. And in this week's news section, Platinum are at it again with another great 80s cartoon. We have a lot of interesting PS4 news. It's all over our news section. And also, Pro Evo goes freemium. So that first piece of news, that's with me, and Platinum Games are at it again. So Platinum Games, the makers of Transformers Devastation, or as I like to call it, here's your favourite 80s cartoon in a game. Bit of a long title. They kind of rejected that one. And they're at it again. This time there has been rumours that great Japanese developer Platinum Games, makers of Metal Gear Revengeance, Bayonetta, and others, so they've still got some coming out as well. They're at it and they're making a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. So this was picked up by an Australian classifications board this week. Just knowing that Platinum Games are making a Turtles game, I am colour me excited.
Yeah. What was it about, in the UK when we weren't allowed to call them Ninja Turtles when it first came out? It had to be called Hero Turtles. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's because ninjas were a violent term, and so we had to call them Hero Turtles.
They're not a violent term anymore, though.
No one cares anymore. Down with the kids.
Grown up, the country's grown up. Ninja Turtles all the way for the UK.
Yes.
I dreamed of that day.
So this is TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants in Manhattan.
Wow.
So it hasn't been announced. This like I say, this has been picked up by. It's got an M rating in Australia. So that's kind of normally about 15 or over. So they could be going a bit kind of Eastman and Laird, a bit kind of back to the start of this, and they could be going a little bit kind of gritty with it.
Wow. Well, with Platinum on it, I would say it's going to be a good game. It makes me think that they'd be good at bringing out loads of games that sort of 4-player old arcade games, bringing them back to life and put them all through Platinum.
Yes.
Like we were talking about Gauntlet, for instance. Like, imagine Platinum did Gauntlet. That'd be awesome, but following this sort of model rather than top down. It'd be what I presume this model will be, which is sort of what I'm sort of picturing a kind of like Bayonetta, Devil May Cry kind of game with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in it. And Transformers kind of game. It's sort of a bit of a template, really.
They just took a file save as. I mean, if they do that, they can continue doing that, and they could give us Thundercats. I'd happily have a Thundercats game by Platinum. Maybe Jason the World Warriors. Just keep going.
Wow.
Just keep going. So I've got to ask before we move on, who was your favourite turtle?
Michelangelo.
Oh, you're such a classic.
Yeah, everyone liked Michelangelo, didn't they? What about?
I don't know. I was Donatello. Donatello, to this day, even though in the brand new CGI cartoon, he's got a ginormous gap in his teeth, and he's a bit of a douche. But he's still my favourite. Donatello is my favourite turtle.
Let me just check that I'm right. Michelangelo has the nunchuckers, doesn't he? Nunchuck guy, yeah, I liked him. Donatello, did he have the stick?
He did. He was the one with the staff. It's not a stick. Have some respect.
Sorry, mate. He had the staff. Yeah.
He had a divider. He could find water anywhere.
Raphael had the 3-pronged blades. Then I'm thinking, which just leaves Leonardo with the sword. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Wow. But yeah, I always liked Michelangelo. I don't know. I think it was because he was like that, man. I mean, they were all like that, but he was like more like that.
Yes. Did you see the Michael Bay movie last year?
No.
Do you know what? I sat and watched it. I have it on 3D Blu-ray. Never went to the cinema. Got it on Blu-ray for home, and I sat and watched it. And I must admit, at the end, I was like, cowabunga. I was too many Skittles. I was like, cowabunga. I love this movie.
Wow.
And it was just like, I think I tweeted that as well.
Did it have a Splinter in it?
It did.
Did it have that guy from the cartoon that had his sort of the baddie like lived in the stomach of them of
Krang?
Yeah, that's it.
No, that'll probably be. They're making another one.
Oh wow! So there's room for it. Was it a bit more adult? Was it like a 15, that film?
I don't know. I think it was like possibly. No, I think it was like a 12A or something like that. I think it was like a PG. They didn't really swear. It was good fun. There were some really good set pieces. Once you because I remember when they first showed a picture of them online, I was a little bit kind of not sure about that. But after that, you just actually, do you know what? These are awesome, and I really enjoyed it. It was just such a great game. I know it's kind of I don't say kind of guilty pleasures much, but I just don't care. I just love it. I love Turtles. I bloody love them.
I used to love them. I really did. I mean, when it started over here, the cartoon, I taped it. I taped every episode as if it was going to be worth loads one day. I was like so into it. I was like, this is big.
Did you pause the adverts as well?
I don't think there were any adverts actually.
Oh, weren't there? I thought it was on like ITV or something like that.
It was. Wow. Sure, it was on CITV, but
right.
It was small enough that they couldn't. I bet they would these days, but they didn't put an advert break in it.
Right. I did. I enjoyed. They brought out a CGI movie which was TMNT. I quite enjoyed that. I have that on Blu-ray. I quite enjoyed that. And then I have been watching occasionally. It's on like Sky Go. If I'm kind of doing nothing, then I'll just kind of like if I'm sitting in bed with my iPad, I'll watch an episode sometimes. It's good fun. It's just I prefer the classic. I'm sure if I go and watch it now, it'll probably be terrible, but it was really good. And there was a game, wasn't there? There was a game on there. Was that Mega Drive, the Turtles game?
Well, that might have been from the arcade game, because they brought out a 4-player arcade game, and they brought out a few like that, because the Simpsons arcade game followed the same template, where you could have 4 players, and you're just basically bashing stuff. It was a bit like Final Fight in a way, and they brought out a few games like that. So I think the Mega Drive game was a conversion on that, but with only 2 players at the same time.
Yes, I beat the arcade. Me and 3 friends we were in an arcade. We were late back to school because we were playing it during our lunchtime. We like put loads of money into it. We were playing and we were getting close to the end, so we just kept playing. I think we were like about an hour late for school.
Wow, it ate money, that arcade game, didn't it?
It really did. Honestly, I've never been so elated. We finished it, and then never been so scared in my life, because I was always like I was a good pupil. I was a good student, and I was so scared going back because we were really late, and I think we kind of crept into geography or something like that.
Wow, did you get in trouble? Did you get caught?
Yeah, I got detention, but it was worth it. I finished Turtles. Dude!
In your face education.
In your face education. I like video games instead. So that's not a quote from me. And so next piece of news is with you.
Yeah, this is the story of Star Wars Battlefront. The Jakku DLC is now live as of probably yesterday. So yeah, if you pre-ordered the game, then you will have got a code that you can redeem to get this DLC. I think it's a week early. If you didn't pre-order it and you've bought it since release, then you have to wait a week
right, to
get it. And yeah, so it's available to download. It's about 1.8 gigs to get it on PS4 anyway. I don't know. I presume it's pretty similar on the Xbox. And I managed to have a little go of it, and it's pretty good. Yeah, beautiful map. I mean, what can I say? Beautiful map, beautiful game. It's a beautiful map. It's got all, as you probably know, it's got all the. I think it's called the Starship Graveyard or something like that. I haven't had that long on it. Graveyard of the Giants, it's called, yeah. And it's that one from the screenshots with it's got that massive. What do you call the big Star Destroyers?
Super Star Destroyer.
Look, it must be a Super Star Destroyer. I mean, I don't know. It's difficult to get the perspective, but you've got a Star Destroyer crashed there in the desert. You've got the skeletons of AT-ATs and things, AT-ATs in the desert there. And you can go through the shells of the of these wrecked ships. You can use them for cover and stuff. You can go through them. There's items hidden in them as well. So there's a lot of debris on the battlefield, and it comes with a new mode called Turning Point, which I had to go on, and it's a little bit like Supremacy, but what you do is basically there's 4 checkpoints, or there's 4 points that you've got to gain control of. Now, if you're the Imperials, you defend these checkpoints, and if you're the Rebels, the idea is to take the checkpoints, and that doesn't change. So if you end up being the Rebels, then you've got to take the checkpoints, and if you end up being the Imperials, you've got to defend them. That's always the same. To take a checkpoint, you've got to get into the zone on the map. There's like a perimeter. Get into the perimeter of a certain checkpoint and stay there. A bit like the pods and the other things in the other modes, while the pie chart, while the circle fills up your colour. So it'll fill up blue, and when you've got it, you've got that point. Now, the thing is that's different about this than Supremacy. On Supremacy, you can keep going back and forth, taking over each other's.
Yep.
In this one, once you've got the point, as the Rebels, that's it, you've got it. It's yours. Advance to the next point.
Oh, wow.
There's a time limit on it. So the objective is, if you're the Rebels, you've got to take all 4 points to win. And the Imperials, to win, you've got to keep at least 1 point until the time runs out. And that's it, and it seems pretty good. It's pretty good. I think I haven't played much of it, but it looks like for every point you get some extra time as well. So I think you say you start with like 8 minutes, you plough forward, because I was playing this game before, and the counter had run out. It was on 0, but people were in the perimeter filling it up to our colour to take over the checkpoint. And it didn't end the game. And then we got it by some miracle, and it awarded us another 2 minutes 30. So that was really exciting, because I thought it was game over. So then we carried on to the next one. We got beaten, but it was really good. And then the next go I had, I was no, it might have been, let me think about this. No, the next go I had, we were defending the final perimeter, and we defended it, and they got it just with just 15 seconds to go. So it's just so sort of tense. Like, everybody's just piling into the final sector, and you're battling it out, because if there's Rebels in, they start filling it up their colour, but you get your guys in, and if you get less Rebels than you in that perimeter, then it starts taking their, filling it up with your colour. So there's a real battle going on, and it's pretty good. Yeah, so it looks beautiful, and then an enjoyable mode. As much of a review as I can give, really, after 2 goals. But it's good. It's really good.
That sounds really cool. I'm hoping, because I downloaded mine, because my game's a digital game, I'm hoping that the PS Plus kind of download, because they kind of download while you're offline, while the machine shut down. It syncs your saves, downloads any patch. So I'm hoping when I fire up my PlayStation 4 later on today, I'm hoping it will just be sitting there waiting for me.
Have you already input the code then?
Yes,
right,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
I input the code using online, and then I went into the game, and I had to go to. I was looking around, how can I prove that I've got these maps? And there's a bit where you've got the multiplayer bit. There's a little bit that says plus Jakku, or plus Battle for Jakku, and I went to that, and it said you don't own it yet. So I clicked. It said check the store, so I pressed X, and it took me to the store, and then it was there, and it just said download, so I had to click download then, which was a bit annoying.
Right.
But I sort of did it all very last minute today, so for your good self, it may well be there. I'd love to hear if it is there for you. It would be good to know. So yeah, Jakku's going to be in the new film, but the maps that we're going to play on are set 29 years before the events of The Force Awakens.
Oh, right. Oh, so you haven't got... Because I was always... In my head, I was imagining that this new map and this new mode would bring the new Stormtroopers, the new-look Stormtroopers or something like that. But we're still playing kind of classic-looking Stormtroopers.
Yeah, it's all still set in sort of the old... the previous generation that we know and love. So
right.
It's set just after the end of Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. And it gives you a little bit of plot as the level loads, saying that even though the second Death Star got destroyed, the Imperials have all gathered on Jakku for some reason, and the Rebels have had sort of a tip off, and it's all kicked off. So it looks like you get 2 maps. So I've only played one of them. So the larger of the maps is Graveyard of the Giants, And then there's another map called Gozen Badlands, and that's a smaller map with lower play counts. So you can play with Blast Cargo and Drop Zone on that. It looks like you can also use Graveyard of Giants. It's used for Walker Assault, Supremacy, and Fighter Squadron. I had to go on Fighter Squadron the other day. It was okay. I quite enjoyed it, despite not enjoying as much control as I had on Rogue Squadron. So yeah, Turning Point. It looks like that's the new mode. That only seems to use, at the moment, the Graveyard of Giants, but that could change as more and more things get rolled out, couldn't it? I suppose. But yes. Yeah, it's good fun, you know. It's good fun. I really like the idea of it. It's nice. It's kind of nice in a way that once you've got a checkpoint, that's it. You don't need to worry about it anymore. And I think that's good from both sides, because as a rebel, you're like, right, well, thank goodness we fought and we got it. Let's carry on with the next one. That's one down. They can't get that back. And from the Imperial side's point of view, you can kind of forget about it. So as the rebels take more points and come sort of like their advance comes closer to you, you can concentrate your forces more on defending them. So it works well. It works well, and it culminates in a massive battle at that last last point. So
wow,
the two goals I had, it was really good, and it was just, as I say, it was just really tense and great battling at on that last sort of point. Yeah, it was good. It was really, really smart. And I'm, as I say, you know, I'm not bored with the rest yet, so it's nice. It's nice, and they have said that they're gonna carry on bringing out free stuff as well as the paid. So we'll see. I mean, you're going to just buy the season pass content piecemeal, aren't you? You're going to weigh it up and then buy it as each module comes out, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm either going to do that, or I'm going to wait for the first piece of proper DLC and then buy the season pass. Then it just kind of depends, kind of whatever. I want to see what that first piece is. You know, because I'm enjoying Star Wars so much, as I said earlier in the show, you know, I just can't stop playing it. Even though I'm playing Tomb Raider, you know, I can't stop playing it. So if it comes to the point where the first piece of DLC is something nice and meaty, gives me Ewoks or something, you know, then I'll probably just buy the season pass then. But I'm holding back. I'm teasing them with my cash. I'm not giving it to them without anything. So I'm not just going to hoik over £40 without getting something in return.
Yeah, I think that's wise. I think it'd be nice if you saved a significant amount by investing in the season pass. I don't think you do. I think you only save like a couple of pounds or something.
Yes, yeah, it would be nice if you, again, we don't want to kind of split the base, so it's not like if you buy the season pass, you get this map or this mode because you bought the season pass. But like I say, you know, that sounds great, and it's nice that you're getting extra for your money, but you just don't want to split the base. So you want everyone just kind of playing on the same platform.
Yeah, I'd want a level playing field, really.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like that. Well, I changed my gun. I thought I'd have a go with a different gun, so I changed it to the DL77 because its power was higher, but its range was shorter than whatever I had as a default.
Right.
And I don't know whether it was just I need to get used to it, but I was even worse. I was even worse. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do now. I don't know whether to go back or maybe just practice with the one with... Because everybody seems to hit me, like, and I die really quick. And like I'm hitting someone for hours, and they're just like not dying, and my accuracy isn't great, but I'm just like, surely they should die quicker than this. And while I'm hitting someone, they just take me out. So, but you know, I haven't invested the money in these bigger guns. Oh, why can't everyone just have the same gun? Yeah. That's what I want.
Well, that's why I like playing as the storm. I like using the stormtrooper gun. You know, that is just such a fantastic gun. You know, it's just really, it feels great, and that is my kind of go-to weapon. I think when we were playing on Friday, I kind of switched to even my Rebel was using that, and I just really like that. That was to me, that almost felt like a Halo gun. You know, where you would have the rifle or the cog rifle in Gears. You know, it felt like I had some iconic weaponry, and I really enjoyed that. I must admit, I didn't say earlier when we were talking about Star Wars, but I was playing Supremacy or one of the maps, and there was a Rebel carrier was parked on one of the maps. I think it's on Tatooine, and there was a guy. Somehow he managed to get up to the top, and it was the most annoying game. I've only had one annoying game of Star Wars, and this was it, because this guy had got up onto the top of this carrier, and he just kept taking people out. You could see him just going from one side to the other, taking people out, and you just could not hit him. And I was so desperate. I'd rage, Darren. I'd rage. I was trying to get up there, but I think he had a jetpack or something like that, and I haven't unlocked a jetpack for my cards yet. So I think he had a jetpack to kind of get up there and just start taking pot shots at people. But if you're doing that, if you're listening to this podcast and you're doing that, stop it.
Stop it now.
Stop it now.
Or then again, that's what you get if you've done the hard work to get the jetpack. That's your reward, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. His reward is he is an idiot sitting on top of a carrier.
Yeah, what numpty. It's like that's got to be the best thing to unlock, hasn't it? The jetpack.
Well, it makes you feel like Boba Fett all the time, doesn't it? Then, so you're just like
just the manoeuvrability it gives you. It's got to be better than any blaster.
Yeah.
Or any blooming grenade upgrade. I was looking through the upgrades and it's like, I want that. I want the jetpack. I didn't see anything that could hold a candle to that.
No.
Because that can get you out of trouble quick.
Really?
Hopefully. I suppose you just go straight up. You can sort of jetpack to the side, or maybe, I don't know if you can go backwards as well. But I just thought that's got to be the key item.
Yes, yeah, it's a bit like Halo as well, isn't it? Now you have that jump, don't you? You have that double jump in Halo.
Jump in Halo. Yeah, that's awesome. That.
Someone the other day when I was playing Halo, I was running after a guy shooting him. He jumped and went behind me.
Wow! And
took me out. And I was just like, you know, I sent him a message going, "Nice kill." I'm just like, I was too late because by the time I sent him a message, I was like, Xbox, record that, and it was too late. So.
I love the ground pound in Halo, but you just can't pull it off in multiplayer. Or I haven't been able to. I'm not skillful enough.
I ended up punching myself or something. So the next piece of news is with me. This came out at the start of the week. Really interesting, and it's quite interesting. I was talking to some chaps yesterday about this, and it really is a feature that people have been that are quite excited about. And this is that PlayStation 4 or PlayStation are going to have remote play. So our friend, the friend of the show, Shuhei Yoshida, said on Twitter that, and I quote, this is quote Shuhei, some people have asked if we could provide a remote play function for PC, and yes, we are indeed working on an official application for PC/Mac. So, like I say, I was talking to a bunch of guys yesterday, and they were saying that how great this is. You know, they want to play. They want to play more PlayStation, but they can't get to the main TV in the house, so they would just be able to take their controller upstairs, plug it into an iMac or whatever, and they will be able to just continue gaming and streaming. And I was kind of telling the guys how this works already on Xbox One with Windows 10, and it works quite well, and they were quite excited about it. And I can just see how this works really well. Like I say, if you've only got kind of one screen in the house, or it's a faff to take your PlayStation 4 to another screen, then this is really going to solve it. I mean, I play remote play on my Vita with my PlayStation 4, and that works really well. Within the house, I've never played it outside of the house, but within the house, it works really well. So if you're kind of, can't be bothered to move, you want to stay in bed for another couple of cozy hours on a Sunday, you can just grab the Vita and you can play. I mean, and even some of the games have been remapping buttons as well on the Vita. So I know Fallout's done it, Destiny's done it. So you can just kind of pick up and carry on. So I'm quite excited about this. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's cool. I dabbled with the PSP and the PS3. Back in the day, actually, because that supported remote play.
Oh, right. It did, didn't it? Yes.
Yeah. So I had to go on that then. And yeah, I thought it was great. And I like it, I like the idea that it can just free up the main TV and stop arguments. If you've got people you've only got one console, you've got, people fighting over, like you say, the main TV, you want to watch whatever rubbish it is on normal telly, or they might just want to watch something good. They might not want to watch Coronation Street. They might want to watch something like a great Blu-ray that they bought, and they're certainly entitled to do that. But, little Johnny wants to play his Star Wars, and he can blame him. He's only just got it after all, even though he hasn't got the season pass yet. And yeah, he can just swan off into the other room and play it on his PC. I think it's an awesome idea. It works really well when I tested it on the Xbox One. And yeah, it's good. It's functionality that they can add in. Obviously it takes some development time to get it working, but once it's there, it's just another selling point for the console, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And there's other news later on that we'll discuss, but it just shows that they're fighting. Even though PlayStation have passed that 30 million mark, they're still trying to really kind of just be the best console, and Microsoft are doing just the same.
Yeah, and you need to, don't you? I mean, if it wasn't that they both existed, we wouldn't be having this sort of this furious innovation that we're getting. Because it'd be like, oh well, we can rest on our laurels.
Yeah, exactly. We brought out the console 2 years ago. This is what it's doing. That's it. That's what it does. Sorry, remote play doesn't come now. You don't get remote play, but because they are fighting for each other, fighting against each other, then we do. We're getting these innovations, and this is just fantastic. And I like the idea that it's similar to the Xbox app, that it's going to be an official app for both Mac and PC. So that's an interesting one. And interesting if you want to kind of fan those fanboy flames. That's really hard to say. The Xbox One doesn't work on a Mac, so maybe that just means your PS4 players they're cooler, they're hip, they've got a Mac, they have a moustache.
Yeah.
Maybe
they appreciate aesthetics more.
yeah. So it's just I like the fact that they're covering both bases. I think it's a really good move. So maybe we've got the PlayStation experience happening at the weekend. So maybe we're going to hear some of the stuff then. I mean, I must admit the rumblings that are happening at the moment and lots of just kind of different news and different things. It all kind of points to a really good showcase on Saturday.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. And the next item with myself is a bit of a bargain corner. I've got some good deals for everybody in my Father Christmas's sack.
I can hear the jangling of your Del Boy bracelet as you're saying that.
Here we are, son. Too late will be the cry when the man with the bargains has passed you by. I've always wanted to say that.
Oh, I love Lockstock.
Yay! That was me thinking you might not get the reference. Silly me. Yeah, man.
Get up early in the morning to get past this one.
Brilliant. And you've been up quite early. So the deals are, one of them, I've actually ordered this one, is Until Dawn, £20 from Tesco Online. So if you order Until Dawn, it certainly was yesterday. We're recording this on the 2nd of December. On the 1st of December, I got Until Dawn for £20 from Tesco Online, which is an absolute bargain, £20 off, or maybe more off, maybe 25 off.
That is the price point that game should have been. I think that is just the perfect price point for that game.
I agree. That kind of price, and the news about the game being that price should go viral, and everybody that was on the fence, like myself, should just dive in and get it, because I think it's a great price.
Absolutely, over the weekend when we had all these Black Friday shenanigans, that was the kind of game I was looking for. I was looking for those kind of games to see if they were discounted, and I didn't see them anyway. Amazon, the Black Friday, they were just discounting all the games I've already got. But that was a good find, Des.
Yeah, it's bad. I know what you mean there, because I was looking at the Black Friday deals, and there was loads of good deals on Xbox Ones, PS4s, and projectors and stuff. And I was like, oh, this would be fantastic if I didn't have one.
Yes.
And I was like, why can't there be a discount on something I want? And then I was like, well, and this don't mean this to sound really awful or anything, but there's nothing that I want really, because I really got to justify something that I really need it to get it. And the only thing I really want is VR, because I think that's going to be something massive. And apart from that, I'm like, oh... there's nothing I want. But I got the urge to play Heavy Rain. I said to Claire, I want to play a Heavy Rain type game, not necessarily Heavy Rain. And it was then that it struck me that I could play Until Dawn. So then, I looked it up online, and that was the best deal I got. And I think it's an absolute demon deal. So get involved if you want that game.
So can we put a link down in the old show notes if that's still available?
Yeah, of course we can. Yeah, if it's still available, I'll link to it. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm actually not going to play it till Christmas Day, though. It's a Christmas present. So Father Christmas will be delivering that one. And also, the 12 Deals of Christmas is starting, or has started, just on the PlayStation Store. So they've been doing this for a year or so now. So the PlayStation Store basically has different offers on for 48 hours during the Christmas period. So they're kicking off with a pretty good deal. Metal Gear Solid 5 has got 50% off.
Awesome.
It's going to be 34 euros and 99 So that's a good price. I don't know what that is in pounds. It's probably only about 30 quid.
Probably £34.99 in the current exchange rate.
It could well be. It could well be. So yeah, they're going to have loads of good deals on. That's the flagship one at the moment. So if you check it out, that's running until... Oh, that's actually going to be finished because that's only running until midnight tonight on the 2nd of December.
But
so there'll be another one, though.
Just kind of keep looking at the PlayStation. Is it the PlayStation EU blog?
Yeah.
I guess the PlayStation blog US as well for our US listeners is going to have a similar...
They feature it on the... If you just go to the store, though, they feature it, don't they? It's right at the top. It's like 12 deals of Christmas.
Right.
This is what it is for today. So if they're starting it with that, let's hope the others follow suit. That's a really good deal.
That's a really good
deal. It's a good price. And also, you can get, for a limited time, only on PC, but you can grab Jade Empire Special Edition for free.
Wow.
On Origin. Yeah, apparently Origin... EA's got an on-the-house service on Origin, which offers free games for players to keep. And I don't know what any of the others are, because I've not heard of them, but Jade Empire is the current one. And
great game.
Yeah, you can go and grab it. It's a limited time, so we'll link to that too. But yeah, I liked Jade Empire. I thought it was great. It got 10 out of 10 on IGN.
It was a superb game. It was awesome.
Yeah, is it BioWare?
It is. That was Xbox, wasn't it? The original Xbox. The OG Xbox.
Yeah, it was the next game I got from them after playing Knights of the Old Republic and absolutely loving that on the OG Xbox. And then Jade Empire came out, and I had no idea about it until I saw a review on IGN, and it said it was by them, it was by the people that made KOTOR, and it gave it 10, and I was like, wow, and I flew out and got it. And I quite enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as Knights of the Old Republic, though. But still a fine game, and this version's the special edition, so it's got some bells and whistles added on for PC. So what's it got? It's got extra monsters and stuff, it's got improved graphics. Yeah, and a new Game Plus sort of mode as well. So if you're a PC gamer and you haven't played it and you've got some time, then yeah, you may as well. Oh, you just think you might have some time in the future. Why not just get it and store it? Yeah, Jade Empire.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the same with like any kind of PS Plus or Xbox games of gold. You know, even if you're not going to play it now, you just bag it, don't you? And then there could be a time where you're kind of Saturday night go, I fancy a bit of Jade Empire.
Yeah, make hay while the sun shines. Grab it while it's hot. Yeah, yeah.
It's superb. Next piece with me, again, kind of, you know, we're in that console war because Sony have improved the PS4 and they have unlocked the 7th CPU core, as data suggests. There was an article on GameSpot over the weekend saying that Sony is giving developers further access to the PlayStation 4 CPU resource, potentially paving the way for enhanced performance in future games. Now, and I think that's the key there. I think it's kind of future games could potentially benefit from the unlocking of this 7th core. I think Xbox did it maybe 6 months ago. They did that. I think that maybe that's helped with some of their titles this year, helping them kind of reach that 1080p 60 frames a second. So all of these details were buried within a most recent update to developers, saying that the notes read the PS4 added FMOD core access to the newly unlocked 7th core. So this could be used for the operating system, it could be used for graphics, it could be used for, you know, just speeding up the loading of games. So this is just really interesting. It's really interesting that we have machines where they can do this. Yeah,
they've got the power to sort of open up more, but I suppose that means that they also had the power to send it out closed. But I suppose that's better than sending out a system that's going to hit, you know, problems, isn't it? And things. They've got that power to make sure the operating system runs sweet.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a nice thing to do. I believe that we won't see any improvements in any games that have come out up to now.
No, I doubt if a developer would issue a patch. To
utilise it. I don't think that on the PS4. I don't think there's any games that shoddy. Apart from actually maybe Just Cause 3 could do with it. I don't know, because I've been reading a few things about Just Cause 3 being a bit shoddy on PS4.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that game looks so good. Just Cause games always look like a ton of fun. And it always looks so good. I mean, I've been seeing some stuff on Xbox, and it looks pretty impressive. But
Yeah, I just remembered I've got that as a bit of a news point later on, so I'll come back to that.
Well, we'll come back. We tease, but it's worthwhile noting that the PS4 is assembled with an 8-core system, so I wonder if there is potential to unlock that last one, or if that last one is just locked down for operating systems to make that all kind of run slick.
Yeah, I suppose they could. I suppose they've got the power to unlock as much as they want, but they would need to keep the OS stable. I read something about unlocking of cores, and then on the Xbox One, for instance, that it sort of was kind of behaved a bit like a rubber band, because the games could utilise the power, but then if you used something from the operating system, then that automatically took precedence.
Right.
So it's, for instance, voice commands is quite a big one for the operating system. So then that delved into that bit that was unlocked, and so you could notice if a game was using that power at that time, if it was utilising that power, and you did a voice command, then it would lose that power, and then you'd see a bit of a drop in frames or something.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I don't think that's the thing. If they opened it all up, then you might trigger some slowdown. If a game's designed to use everything,
yes.
Then if your OS, like if you popped up with a trophy, for instance, on PS4, that's your OS coming to the forefront, then it might start,
start juddering and jittering and stuff like that. But,
getting a bit chuggy.
But it's interesting because the GameSpot article that kind of broke this extra core being opened up, they were also saying that, this can help with frame rates and things like that. And they did say that, it's been quite interesting with, Star Wars Battlefront on the PS4 is only running at 900p. On Xbox One, it's running at 720. I mean, it looks fantastic. Call of Duty is running at 1080, but on Xbox One, it's 900. And obviously, I'm not getting into all of this is running at this, but it's worthwhile noting that the PS4, like Battlefield Hardline, Star Wars Battlefront, and also some other games are running they're not running kind of 1080p even on the PlayStation 4. But I haven't heard anything about Star Wars kind of running low on Xbox One. I mean, like I say, for the first time I'm playing this on PlayStation 4, and I haven't got my Xbox One copy yet, so I can't make any comparison.
Yeah, but from everything I've heard, it runs well on both. It runs to a lesser spec on Xbox One to be able to run, but they sacrificed resolution for gameplay, and I think that's the way it should be. The unfortunate thing against both consoles, or all the consoles if you want to include the Wii, is that I think, for me personally and a lot of gamers, I expected these consoles to be more powerful. I think it was a common... And it turns out a misconception that we expected the new consoles, this current generation, Xbox and PS4 specifically, to be able to, for 1080p and 60 frames per second, to be water off a duck's back. It was sort of a given, wasn't it? We thought that was a given. And it turns out that the specs that went in, it's not a given. Even for PS4, as you say, Uncharted 4 is not going to run at 1080p.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I am totally with you. I thought that would be... Obviously, I knew that we weren't getting 4K with this generation of console, but I did, exactly the same. I thought, 1080p, 60 frames a second would be a walk in the park. Yeah,
and it isn't. It's not as easy as that, and I suppose that comes down to them wanting to hit a price point that gamers can afford. Yeah, maybe. But then I sort of think they could have waited a couple of years. I think PS3 and Xbox 360 had some juice left. The games we were getting, The Last of Us, the God of War titles, the Gears games, I think they could have... GTA 5, they could have squeezed more out, I think. They could have squeezed more out, and then perhaps we could have got higher powered... next gen after it would have been a bit higher powered. It's still at the same price.
Yes.
But I don't know about the whole development cycle and when they sort of underlined the specs and said, right, that's it. Even saying that. But I just think they could have. I was happy with you. I wasn't hankering for a new console generation at that point.
No, I mean, I wasn't hankering for it. It was chugging a bit. I wasn't hankering for it, but the moment they told me there was something new and shiny coming, that's when I did.
Oh yeah. I was so excited. Yeah, I was really happy about it. But the reality is that it's not quite what I think a lot of people wanted and what a lot of people expected. A lot, everybody that I talked to, it's not as big a jump. I know we've got the diminishing returns thing, but it's not as big a jump as it was from PS2 to PS3. Xbox to Xbox 360, and I think a lot of people, including myself, were expecting more of a jump than we got. But I know that, I mean, we're getting there with Star Wars, but we're not. It's not able to deliver, those specs. It's not able to easily hit the 1080s and the 60s. It will probably be able to soon as the developers get more out of the systems, and that's fine, and that's good about having, we don't want a console every few years, because that's a bit like a PC where there's kind of no point in getting the best out of one spec, because you can just always tailor to the latest and greatest graphics, can't you? And that's a never-ending cycle. So it's good about the lifespan of a console. I like the fact that everybody's on the same playing field there for a set number of years, say 10 years, 7 years, whatever. But yeah, I do think that, like you were saying there, and it's just that really did expect 1080p and 60 to be a given, and it's just surprising that it's not. But we still have some great games.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the first year of the console, I didn't feel next gen that I was playing something next gen. I think until I started playing Batman. Arkham Knight, I think, was the first game really that I was thinking that you couldn't have done this on the Xbox 360. That was the first game that I actually thought this is next gen. And then we've had a couple more. We've had The Witcher. We've got Fallout. Things like that. There have been some more now. I think now we really are next gen. But obviously that first year was a little bit. The first 18 months was maybe just a little bit rocky, and they could have just waited. They could have because we've got some really good graphic cards over in PC land at the moment. So we could have had something that we both really kind of wanted, which I guess was kind of a 4K machine.
Yeah, but we'll get there. This is
get there.
This is just a step, isn't it? It's just a
indeed. And if we can do stuff to improve graphics, then more power to you. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was funny when I was reading about this little news piece. I read that something that I didn't know was that the Xbox actually has the edge on the PS4 regarding CPU processing, because the PS4 offloads a lot of its CPU to the graphics chip, but the PS4 has got better CPU facility than the PS4, and I didn't know that they had the edge there. I thought the PS4 beat it in all parks, but no, the Xbox has it on CPU. I didn't know that.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, interesting. It's not all, it's not all PS4 kicking Xbox's ass all the time. There is the odd thing that Xbox wins on, but gamers win in the long run with all the fine games. And so the next piece of news with myself is this is pretty cool, and I'll put a link into the show notes for this one, because it's some HoloLens footage. It's some videos that have been released showing Xbox streaming on HoloLens. And yeah, it's really cool. Have you seen these videos, Anthony?
I did. Yeah, no, I saw that this afternoon because I sent you a link, didn't I? You were like, it's already in the show notes. And
already seen that, mate.
Of course it is, Mr. VR, Darren's VR desk. No, absolutely. It looked, I loved the fact that he was in the clip. He was playing Halo 5, wasn't he? Kind of on a TV, and then turned round, and then I think obviously put HoloLens on or something, and there was Halo 5 just kind of hanging there in the space, in the ether.
Yeah, I loved it. There's 3 clips on the link. One, as Anthony just said, he's playing Halo. He's playing it on the TV, and then he turns around to where he's pinned it in the ether. He's in midair, and he carries on playing it. It looks really cool. Looks like it runs pretty well as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really, when it's, the video quality isn't that great, so you can't really tell, but it looks the same, doesn't it, really, as when he was playing it on the TV. And then he shows him, I don't know if it's the same guy, there's another video demoing Netflix running on Edge through HoloLens. Edge being the Windows 10 version of Internet Explorer, for those that don't know. And that looks really cool, and it's just great that you can just resize the screen. So he just grabs the screen. You've got a window in front of you in the air anywhere you want. You can stick it to a flat surface if you want, so you can put it on a wall, but you can go past the wall into the door space. You can just drag it just like you would with a left click of a mouse opening a window, and he just drags the screen to as big as he likes, and there it is. And I really like that. It's so cool. And then he plays Candy Crush as well, which really, I'm not into Candy Crush, but it looks very good. It runs really well. You can just imagine playing that in midair. You could even be lying on, I don't know what the back of the HoloLens is like, but I would imagine sort of lying on your bed, staring up at the ceiling, because I always had this dream about having a flat screen on the ceiling, so I could just lie down and watch films. Though I'd be scared of it, a screw coming loose.
Love pad. But you imagine, like, when you were probably younger, the TVs were just so heavy back then.
I worry about my little fantasy with the flat screen of a screw coming loose and smashing into my face.
Screw a CRTV to the wall, to the ceiling.
So when the police come around, there's just this white outline of me, and then a massive 50-inch square, sort of from where my head was down to sort of my torso, and then just 2 hands sticking out either side and 2 legs at the bottom. But I thought that was great. But you could really, I love the videos for HoloLens. I love the way that you can just draw your screen anywhere, and then you can stick it to the wall, or you can say "Follow me" and just like walk along, and it's just there. It looks really good.
That was my favourite part. When they announced HoloLens for the first time, when they announced it, that was the thing that I loved. There was that, similar to the demo that we saw. The guy he was in his room, big blank wall. Just kind of pulled the screen to a size, stuck it onto the wall, and then there was Netflix. That was my favourite part of that demo.
Yeah, I mean, there's problems at the moment with the field of view and the size of the technology. It's not, you're not going to be jogging down the street wearing a HoloLens. I'm sure the battery won't last that long either. But it's a start, and in the future, the fact that this is going to come to consumers is just a great step, because that means it's something that they believe is going to take off. And, I mean, I can't really give you an argument why it wouldn't take off, because the technology, will, like I say all the time, it'll get cheaper and it'll get smaller. And, wearing it will become more comfortable. Almost, and who knows what might happen. This could be something like 20 years ago, who'd have thought everybody would have a mobile phone? Even children.
Yes.
You wouldn't have thought it. You're like, no, you don't need those. We got our phones at home. Who needs that? But people didn't realise that it would be more than a phone, and it would become sort of a hub of your whole world with what you could do with the internet. And I think I think VR is the cusp of a whole new world anyway. But I think like wearable AR like HoloLens could just be massive and I'm sure it will eventually happen when battery gets to be less of a problem, and the wearing of it, as long as it's not too heavy, it's going to be comfortable. It'll probably, in 20 years from now, it could shrink into just glasses, like what Google Glass should have been. I have contact lenses with it on. But yeah, it looks really cool. So have a look.
Or we could all be Geordie LaForge.
Yeah,
that's the future I want.
If it gave, I swear, I wouldn't mind if it gave HoloLens. I'd pretty much wear anything. If it could give you what HoloLens promises, I'd pretty much wear anything. And it's funny because the people that do adopt the technologies and these videos of it, and it's taking its early steps in its evolution. It's just going to be like those brick phones from the 80s. It's going to be laughable, isn't it, in a few years? But it's got to start somewhere, hasn't it?
Absolutely, I can't wait. Something like HoloLens, like I say, the demos that they've done, they always interest me. I think I've said it before, but I love the idea of having HoloLens, cooking, and you've got the cookbook there. It's just kind of hanging there as you're cooking, as you're baking. Your hands are full of flour, and it's all a bit messy. You can't turn the page of your book. Most of my cookbooks are all just kind of full of grease stains and stuff. So it would just be there, just be hanging there. And I want to play games with it, but I can see so many other practical uses for HoloLens, and that's. What do you call it? Is it kind of? It's not virtual reality. It's augmented reality. Is it? Yeah. I can see a lot of potential for that.
Yeah, they did change the name again, and the last thing I watched, but I just can't quite remember what they've renamed it to. It's something simpler than augmented. I like augmented, but I've forgotten what it was called. Mixed reality, I think they changed it to.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, you don't have to dumb it down that much. We can work out augmented. Leave it alone. Mixed reality. I suppose it does make it easier. But yeah, like that clip where it showed like some guy or girl trying to do a bit of plumbing in the bathroom. They're trying to fix the sink or something. Do you remember that bit?
Yes.
And they got him on the screen, and he could draw, because you got the HoloLens on, he could draw arrows into real life. So it was like this bit, and he drew an arrow pointing right at the washer or whatever it was, and a circle here. It's like here, go around here, and like the circle appears around the pipe, and it's just and because you've got the HoloLens on, it's around the pipe in real life. It's just like unbelievable. And like you're saying about your cookery book, turning the pages, but you'll have the author of that book stood next to you saying, "No, Anthony, do it this way," and he'll be next to you with the virtual bowl, and he'll say, "Stop a minute, Anthony. This is the way you whisk it." I'm not trying to demean your whisking skills there, but do you know what I mean? You're gonna be able to cook with your favourite chef. You have Gordon Ramsay going mad at you because you did it wrong.
Nigella? She's going to be in my kitchen.
Is that your cookbook?
Well, I've got many cookbooks, but Nigella?
Obviously Nigella.
Where do I sign up? I'll get beaten up by Nicola if she listens to this week.
All we've said is Nigella.
Yeah, so let's move on. And interesting one. I thought I'd put this in the show notes. I thought I'd add this to our news items, and that is PES, Pro Evolution Soccer, as the cool kids call it, 2016 has announced a free-to-play version. So Konami has announced a free-to-play version of PES. It's exclusive to PlayStation 4 and PS3. It launches in a couple of days' time on the 8th of December. And it's described as an entry-level version to the game. It includes exhibition mode, it has 7 teams, and it also has access to the training section as well. And then they have the microtransaction-fueled, this is a quote from Eurogamer, microtransaction-fueled My Club feature, as well as online and offline play will be available. So this is a really interesting one, because for years, people have been saying, PES and FIFA need to become a platform. They need to maybe just kind of start using this model, and they've gone free to play. I mean, I guess for you it might be a bit of a nightmare, because this whole kind of free to play, that is just take kind of microtransactions after microtransaction from you.
Yeah, it's kind of lucky though. I don't like football or football games, but I'd have a go, and I can see where they're coming from, because I think FIFA is probably making more cash than PES.
Right.
They've got the licensing, haven't they? And PES hasn't. So that they can give it all the real names and all the real teams. I don't think PES can do that. They might be able to do the teams. I don't know. I'm not that into it. But this is the thing: FIFA, the FIFA franchise makes loads of money from their FIFA Ultimate Team.
Yes.
Add-on, or it's not really an add-on. It's there, isn't it? And then you can make your own team, and you buy players and things like that. And the football fans absolutely love it, and I can see why. When I had a look at that, the options on offer, be like, I'm so glad I'm not into football, because not only would I have to spend £1 million with Sky each month, I'd also have to do this, because this is awesome. It's like this. I mean, what fan would not want to do this if they were a gamer? It's brilliant. So they've got. I think they're ahead of the game, the FIFA guys, on this. So I think it's a wise decision from Konami if they want to, get a foot in the door here. And get the edge on FIFA. Give the game away free. Give the game away free. Get people hooked, and then start doing this freemium model. I think it's a sensible thing to do, really. If
it's very interesting. I mean, they have a main game. You can buy PES 2016, the full game, on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, other platforms, and they did say that they will update and they will patch the free-to-play model with all the patches that are coming to the full game. So if they do future updates, etc., that's all coming to this free-to-play model. So it's not a dumbed-down version. It is getting all of those new functions and features.
Yeah, it feels like the thing that they're going up against, they're trying to beat the FIFA Ultimate Team gameplay experience that you get from EA. Is it EA? Yeah, it is EA, isn't
yes, it is. Yep.
So that's what they're going after here. Now, if this was a game... You see, I'm saying that I think this is a good thing, but I'm just trying to think... there aren't really any games that follow that model. Not at the moment until...
No, this is real groundbreaking stuff. And I just kind of see other sports games that, other sports games just following this model if it becomes successful.
If they've got they need a big enough fan base, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure the Madden games could probably do it if they have. I think any game that's got an EA equivalent of FIFA Ultimate Team could be done. for certain.
Absolutely,
but
I'd love a Madden game. I mean, I've been on the fence with EA Access because waiting for that game that I really want to play on it. But if I had EA Access, I'd be playing Madden all the time. A bit like Star Wars, just kind of dipping in and playing a game every now and then. Because I do like playing American football, and that would be interesting. And if they brought out a free-to-play model of Madden, I'd definitely dip in. I definitely would play it. So I'm not sure if I would buy anything because I'm not attached to any team. I like the Giants, but I'm not attached to them enough to maybe kind of spend £5 to get their latest roster.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that's the way those sports games should go. And Formula One, which obviously I'm a big car nut, but like Formula One, where you can just get the latest car, the latest drivers, and with any other kind of sports game. I'll be really interested to see if it fails dramatically, or if it actually starts other people thinking, and then within a couple of years' time, or maybe EA are already thinking about it for FIFA 2017 is going to be this model.
I think EA will probably sit back and see how it does, won't they? And if they notice a drop in their sales, because people go, well, why should I bother buying the next iteration of FIFA when I can get the freemium of PES and play their DLC version there. What did you call it again? My Team?
Yes.
And play that. Then I think they'd pretty quickly drop the price of admission, i.e., their actual main game, and they'd do it the other way. But I just suppose it's down to the fans, because it's a bit like, having the licenses means a lot, doesn't it? And that's what EA have got.
Yes.
And so actually seeing the likenesses of your favourite players named correctly, the correct teams with all that the stadiums and stuff, and the commentary from famous people. I don't know if the commentary on PES is from famous commentators. Again, I don't know much about this genre.
Yeah, and I think PES has likeness now. I think I'm not 100% sure, so feel free to hit me up and tweet at me and tell me I'm wrong. But I'm sure PES has likeness now, because they do have cover stars on the box, etc.
Okay, we're in a grey area here, aren't we, mate?
We are.
we're trying to make it up, but we're not quite sure.
We'll just keep going. But I just thought it was an interesting one, because I see it as it's a demo. It's almost a demo. You've got a full game. It's almost a demo, but you fire it up. There's 7 teams, and then if you go, actually, do you know what? I'd really like to play as England. So you then you buy some microtransactions. You got England, and then you've got that, and then you can play online with your mate. Play online, and then and you go, actually, do you know what? I really like this game. I might buy a little bit more. I might buy my favorite tea, and then I just find it's just incredibly interesting, and I'd like to see if others kind of pick this up as well.
Yeah.
So when I saw the news break, like I say, it was GameSpot who kind of I'm sure it was GameSpot or Eurogamer who kind of broke the news. I was just like, this is an interesting turn of events.
Yeah. If the game's quality is good and the prices of the DLC are reasonable, there's sort of no reason why it wouldn't work. But all right, I'll posit this to you. See, this to me is like as if EA brought out what we've just paid for in Battlefront for free, and then started selling the DLC.
I would burn a Jawa. No, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
I think I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, no. Joking aside, I think that that's exactly it.
Which is weird, because that's against what I want. I sort of don't want a future like that, but. If it's a bit like Plants vs Zombies, they give you enough to make you to love it, enough to want to spend. So, and that's the thing. If you're going to adopt this model, you've got to have your main game, good enough to make people first of all want to carry it. It's got to have longevity, hasn't it?
Yes.
And after longevity, it's got to give them the desire to want more and to be willing to pay for it. Now, if Star Wars, maybe not all of what we got as the standalone product that we've just bought. But if we got Hoth and Tatooine, if you got a few, with a few modes and stuff, they'd have brought that out for free and monetised the rest. How would I feel about that? I'm just trying to decide. It would depend on what they decided to do. But if they brought out that game, say, as the free game, because like the football bit, that's the main single player, isn't it, in those games?
Yes.
So if they did that, if they'd have brought out this and then said, right, we're going to give you that for free, it's awesome, and we're going to bring out even better stuff, but we're going to charge. I think I think a new style of gaming future might have started, and people would be raising the roof about how cool that would be. Because you'd be like, look at this, it's fantastic, and we're playing it. Season pass, I'm ordering it day one. I haven't spent any money yet, and I'm going to get that. And I wouldn't mind that being on the front screen either as soon as I fired it up.
Yes.
So,
indeed, and I just had a quick look while you were talking. I just had a quick look on Eurogamer just to see how Pro Evo 2016 fared, and it got a Eurogamer recommended because they don't have numbers anymore in their review, but it got a recommendation by Eurogamer.
Right. So it depends on what they're giving away for free. I mean, I'm just sort of making it up that they're giving the main, no, not the main bit, but the standard football part of it is going to be free. So that's not a rubbish game. It's not some game that's trying to get talked about because it's never been heard of by doing this. It's like there's a big fan base behind PES. There's always this rivalry, isn't there, about which is best. You say the hardcore people always like PES because it was better control, but it's been last few years it's been sort of back and forth, hasn't it, with who's best. I still sort of read a little bit about it, even though I'm not that interested. So yeah, it could be interesting, and not just for sport games. If it was done fairly, I think people would agree with it as a good thing. It's just that it seems a lot of the time it's as if you're being milked and milked and milked and milked and milked. But that sounds like a good model because you're giving quite a bit away, and then you're saying, well, and it could get more fans, couldn't it? Because there might be people that have never bothered trying it, and they think, as it's free, I'll have a go. Like yourself said, you just said, and it's like, but I don't think I'd spend anything. But if you got into it, you got a much better chance of getting into something that you're going to play for because it's free than never buying it, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it comes with exhibition mode only, 7 teams. Like I say, if you wanted to play England, but also if you say, actually, I'm really enjoying this, I'm quite good at it. I want to try a league. I want to do the Premier League. So then maybe that's unlockable, and then you just buy that bit. I do like it's quite a nice idea. It's quite a nice kind of almost a la carte kind of a game. So that's really really good.
Yeah, we almost
interesting.
We almost used to call it demos.
Yes, and that's what this is. This is a demo with microtransactions, is what it is. It's, you're probably, the download's probably as big as the game because it's all sitting there waiting behind a paywall, waiting for you to kind of download it.
Yeah, but it doesn't sting as much because you haven't had to buy it.
Exactly. So interesting first move, Konami. Over to you, EA.
Yeah, wow, absolutely. Cool. Okay, and next up, just a quick one, really. It looks like we're going to get Rocket League on Xbox One.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's nice. So people on Xbox One who like the look of Rocket League, and it is a brilliant game, they're looking like they're going to get it. So that's fantastic. Wow. There was a rating that was spotted. This is thanks to Eurogamer. It was spotted on the Taiwanese Games Board website. So it had an Xbox One rating for Rocket League up there. It's gone now, though. It's gone. Now, Psyonix said that it was going to bring the game to more platforms, but they never elaborated on that. It's currently available on PS4 and PC. Well, there aren't many more platforms to go to, are there? I don't think it'd work on Wii U as well, the way that it made the PS4 fans go.
Yes, I mean, I think, Rocket League, we heard from James when he was on the podcast, he loves playing Rocket League. He's pumped in more hours than I have in Arkham City and more hours than you have in Witcher, I think, into Rocket League. But I think it's where it is because it was free to play, wasn't it? It was part of PS Plus.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that kind of, again, it's that kind of free to play. I'll give it a go. I think it's still selling now that it's not a full price title, but now that it's a paid for title. But I think most of the people that got on, the noise, the hype, the buzz, the Twitch streaming was all because of that free game. So I'll be interested to see if it's a Games with Gold over on Xbox Land to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it would sort of make sense and feel more fair if it was. But it's interesting to remember James saying that he likes to buy stuff for Rocket League because he thinks it's such a great game. Yes, and he got it free, so he's like, there's nothing's going to stop me. If I see like a skin I like or whatever it is that's available, I'm not averse to getting it because he feels that he owes them because they've given him such a great experience because he got it on games not on PlayStation Plus. Yeah. And that sort of illustrates what we were kind of talking about in the last point as well.
Absolutely. He was saying, I think he kind of almost had his analogy was a tip jar, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
So,
that's it, yeah.
And that, I think, because they've actually announced, talking of Rocket League, they've actually announced a Portal, some added content that's all Portal themed. So there's all kind of, I think there's different propulsions and stuff like that. I saw a news item throughout the week. So they just keep adding content to this game, adding kind of little things that you can do to your car, and so I just think it's great. It's great. I haven't played Rocket League enough, but the problem is now when you go into Rocket League, people are really good. Yeah. It's like Call of Duty, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go to Call of Duty now, people are really good, and I find the same with Rocket League. I'm way out of my league.
I love the idea of a Portal mode where, for instance, me and you are there as a little team, and I fire up a portal in front of the goal, and then the ball's right at the other end at our goal. You grab it, fire at your portal, which is linked to mine, then boot the ball through. It goes straight through my portal and into the goal.
That would be awesome.
Imagine the tactics that you could have with that. It'd be unbelievably fun.
It would be cheeky goals, but it would be great fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and maybe, because it wants to stop the other player putting a portal in front of your portal and getting it back to the other side. Oh man, my head's going crazy there.
So there you go. They needed you when they were designing this DLC, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But they're avid listeners, so I'm sure they'll implement that in the next DLC.
Superb. Next piece of news is with me, and that is possibly my game of the year. WB Montreal Batman Arkham Origins. Arkham Knight. I can't stop talking about this, but maybe we won't get any more DLC because the studio looks like they are busy making some new games. So there was a listing saying that in the most recent game from DC Universe, there was a thing saying that we are working on 2 new DC themed titles. So they are focused on expanding the DC Comics universe into the interactive space, and they are currently in development for 2 AAA projects focused on that. So that was just kind of blew my mind, because if you remember, I think in one of our very first podcasts we had some leaked screens that showed a Superman in the same kind of art style.
I remember that. Yeah.
As Arkham Knight. So I'm just thinking, are we going to get like a Justice League game? There was always talk of getting a kind of Golden Age superhero game as well, but in the Arkham Origins, Arkham Knight kind of vein. So I'm quite excited about this. I'll be interested to see when we're going to get an announcement. I mean, quite interestingly, in a lot of the video game awards, and video game awards are happening on Thursday, I think they've announced maybe 3 of the 4 Arkham games have been announced in the Video Game Awards. So who knows? And there was a news that Mark Hamill will be there, but whether he's going to be there as Luke Skywalker or whether he's going to be there as the Joker tomorrow night, isn't it? It's going to be Thursday night. We have to wait and see.
Yeah, we will indeed. Wow, very interesting.
But more of these games, yes, please.
I liked Arkham Asylum.
Right.
And then Origins.
What about City?
Oh, yeah, and I love City. And it was after City that Origins was made, wasn't it?
Yes.
And that was by a different developer, wasn't it?
Yes.
It wasn't as good, was it?
That was WB Montreal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the team that's working on these 2 new ones.
Oh, right. I wouldn't get too excited then. not too quickly.
But I mean, Origins was almost a...
It's more of the same, wasn't it, really?
Exactly. Here's the engine, here's the thing, go for it. I think it got a bit of... I was enjoying it. I got stuck on a bit that I couldn't get past, then the next generation came out, and I didn't do any more. But I think it got a bit of a bum rap, just because it wasn't Rocksteady. Yeah,
I suppose it did. But it was just sort of meh. It's just sort of like, I don't know, I didn't play it. I sort of struck it off my list. I didn't play it for the same reason I didn't play Arkham Knight, though, in that I didn't feel that it was different enough from Arkham City. That was the reason I didn't play Arkham Knight. That's the reason I didn't play Arkham Origins.
No, absolutely. I mean, as we've discussed many times, I go in because I'm a Batman fan.
Yeah, that's the same. Like, if it was Star Wars, I'd be there.
Yes. But I do think, it's quite funny, even Rocksteady don't recognise the WB Montreal games, but if Rocksteady are not going to make any more, then it's good that WB Montreal
at least someone
pick exactly
Yeah.
Put perfectly, sir. At least someone is kind of making these games, because it's quite interesting. We don't seem to get a lot of superhero games. We get Lego games. The Beyond Gotham was great fun. There is a Lego Avengers game coming out in the new year, I think 29th of January. That's good fun. But we don't really get these kind of games, so I'm happy to play these. I'm happy to kind of support these. It was quite interesting. In the week, there was some footage from a Xbox 360 PS3 game that was going to come out at the same time as Avengers Assemble, as it was called in the UK, and that was strangely a first-person Avengers game. So you just had these two big green hands. If you played as the Hulk, there was just Hulk hands punching everything. That was quite an interesting one. It was a website broke that kind of during the week, and that was quite interesting. And it looked really good. It was a third person game to start off with, but then because of the Arkham Knight and because of other games, they just said third person's been kind of overused. We're going to do first person, and you basically had like Iron Man, you had Captain America, Thor, and Hulk, all from a first-person point of view.
Sounds cool, but challenging to do well. It does sound good. And the thing is, I was just going to say about WB Montreal there. They sort of they had a hard job ahead of them doing Arkham Origins, because because of the reputation Rocksteady had already got and the reputation that those Batman games had already got. If they go with a new hero, they've got sort of a clean slate. So they can go wild with the creativity, and there's not going to be that same expectation. There'll be an expectation that people will want it to be as good as a game as Origins, or they'll probably tie it in expectation-wise as being as good as an Arkham Knight game or an Arkham City game or an Arkham Asylum game. But they've shown that they can sort of hit par with that. So. It could be really good. It's me dissing them just because I didn't think Origins did that much new. It didn't ruin the reputation of Batman or that series. So given a clean slate, they could do really well.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll be really interested to see what they would do with the Justice League. Obviously, there's always the problem with Superman in a video game because he's just too overpowered. But if there was some way to maybe kind of dumb down his powers a little bit, and I'd love to play a Green Lantern game. I like Green Lantern. I'm kind of a big, obviously not the movie. I'm not that much of a fan. I'd love to see. I'd love to play a really good Green Lantern.
But that'd be good in VR because you could do it. You could hold the different stuff that he creates in your hand. One minute you've got a sword. He makes different things, doesn't he? And then a gun. Yes. So you can see it morphing in the controller in your hand, changing into different things. That'd be quite cool. And maybe WB Montreal could do a Treyarch. Because do you remember they always used to be all right, we've got a brilliant Infinity Ward Call of Duty, and then it was like our Treyarch's one. Yeah, it's all right. But we're really waiting for next year for the next Infinity Ward because they make the best. And that's sort of. It's almost swapped over now, and the Treyarch, Treyarch have really nailed it with the Black Ops. So this could be an opportunity for them to carve out their own reputation, couldn't it?
It could indeed, absolutely. It'll be interesting. Like I say, I'm hoping maybe we'll hear something on the Video Game Awards, but who knows?
Who knows, indeed. Who knows? The next thing I've got is about Just Cause 3. And it looks like if you want to play Just Cause 3, sort of as God intended, if you like, you're best off playing it on PC at the moment. They're getting reports that the frame rates are a bit dodgy on the consoles, both of them, in comparison to PC. Both of them, when under testing, they're happening in different circumstances, but both Xbox One and PS4 are hitting plateaus of 20, 24 frames per second at certain occasions during the game, so it's going to need a patch, I think, to help it out, and maybe it'll be a bit frustrating to play. I don't think it's all the time, but there's definitely a lot of instances in which case it's just chugging a bit. If you want to play it and have the best experience, it's one of the rare occasions where, and it's nice to hear it's going to work best on PC. You don't hear that often.
No, absolutely. It's normally, especially after Batman. But I bet, that happens when you got those ginormous explosions, because that's what Just Cause is all about, isn't it? It's those ginormous explosions. I bet when that happens, that's when the engine starts to chug a little. Yeah,
and you can understand that's a lot of heat on the system, a lot of pressure on the system to render all that. But for some reason, We saw Just Cause 3 at EGX, didn't we?
We did, yes.
And I was like, we chose not to queue to play it.
I think it was something like 3-hour queue, wasn't it?
Everything was a 3-hour queue, though, wasn't it?
Yes, but
3-hour queue to the queue.
It's a 3-hour queue just to queue, just for the chance to queue. But I mean, it is a game. If we didn't have all of those great games that we have at the moment, it's a game that I would probably play because it does look a ton of fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's sort of like saturated with high quality stuff now. It's really not the time for anything to come out.
No, this could do with kind of bumping until February or something like that, couldn't it? Especially now as February is kind of cleared a bit. You could really just like having that as a 1st of December release is a weird one, and it's something that no one's done before. Normally, it always stops, doesn't it?
Yeah, November.
Like Black Friday. That's it. So it's quite interesting that we have continued releases, but like I say, I've got Tomb Raider, I've got Call of Duty, I've got Star Wars, I've got Fallout. I really don't want to I haven't got time to invest in another game.
No, and it's not just hundreds of pounds handing over in cash. It's just the commodity of time, isn't it? It's ridiculous. Yes. It's like you have to be a hermit to get through all these games. I don't know how these reviewers are doing it in these last few months. There's so many games hitting. With Fallout and Tomb Raider at the same time, and Just Cause 3. Oh wow! I mean, I enjoyed the original one. I enjoyed a lot.
Yes,
but I didn't play it to completion. It didn't hold my attention. It was more of just a mess about. In fact, I kind of was happy with the demo. I was happy enough with the demo because when I got the full game, I just did the same as I did in the demo, which was just banter around, blowing stuff up. I wasn't bothered about the game. The story. It's never happened to me before, I don't think. I don't know whether... does that say the story's bad, or does it say the action was great?
Probably a bit of both. Probably a bit of both, isn't it? I think you're just kind of enjoying the action so much. I remember. I think I played the demo on Xbox 360. And I just spent the entire time attaching things to canisters and then blowing canisters up. And that was it. I was just like, this is awesome. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's probably a bit of both. It's probably especially for you because you are a bit of a story guy.
Yeah,
aren't you?
I do like
a bit of narrative. Yeah. So it obviously just wasn't grabbing you enough.
I like emotional engagement, but then I'm not all about that. But I used to always try and get in the sky and be in a plane, and I used to like to get on the top of one plane and do a jump to the next, grapple the next, and then get in it. And I just loved it because the spectacle, the way that they did it, it was awesome. It just looked it was a beautiful thing to watch. It was quite a hard thing to do, but the controls made it. It wasn't not doable. You could totally do it, and it was a good fun game. I really liked it, but I remember playing the full game, and I just thought, kind of should have just stuck with the demo. Really, that was a long time ago.
Yes.
That was early 360 title, I think.
Wow, and it looked really good as well. It looked fantastic. I always remember both of those games because there was Just Cause 2 as well, obviously, and that looked fantastic as well.
And I love the music. I love that sort of exciting sort of sort of Spanish music, sort of El Mariachi sort of kind of thing. I just loved that style. I really loved that style.
Excellent stuff. I mean, I would see something like kind of Just Cause 3 being maybe, especially if they've got problems, being kind of quite cheap in the new year. After Christmas, I can see that kind of being on Amazon and kind of maybe dipping in price. So you still got a chance, Daz. You still got a chance to play.
Yeah, I wish they'd brought a demo of it out.
Bring back the demos. This is now the next piece of news, my last piece of news this week. It's this. I have two things for you. Both of them I'm sure you're going to love. On the official Halo website, would you like to be immortalised, your personal Spartan in a 3D printed figure?
Yes.
Hell yes. Well, on the official website, there is a link that allows you, once you have customized your Spartan in-game, it allows you to send your customized Spartan to be printed, painted, immortalised in a 3D figure. There's 3 different 3D figures. They can be kind of from small to a kind of medium-large figure, and the options include things like customised armour, helmets, colour, weapons, along with different poses as well. And these things look pretty awesome. They look really good. I always remember when the Xbox 360 came out, there was a company that I'll get to in a minute, but there was a company that you could, once you dressed up your avatar, you could then put in your Xbox Live ID, and it would say, this is your avatar, and you could have it printed.
Wow.
And I always wanted to do my avatar. I always wanted to. I think like Nicola did my avatar and kind of got it quite spot on. And I always wanted to do my avatar to have like a little chess man kind of on my desk at work. But this is just so cool. What a great idea! You know, when you've got a game that you can customize your character. There you go, and then you can have a little 3D model. I'd love it for Destiny. Destiny would be fantastic because my hero in Destiny is quite cool. Quite like the kind of look that I have. But this is really cool. So this is Halo 5 figures. I'll put a link to the new in the news section or in the bottom of the podcast notes, and it's just absolutely fantastic. It's really cool.
I love it. I would want to do that. I'd want one for every game that I play that I have to create a character, and it'd make me even more obsess over that game creation portion because you'd be even more invested in it.
Well, indeed. I mean, if I was going to get my Spartan customized, I would want to just maybe play it, like you say, play a little bit more to try and unlock other helmets and colours and stuff like that. So I get the Spartan that I want, and then kind of get it 3D printed.
Yeah, and like that's exactly it. So say you unlock, when you get to the highest level or whatever, the highest rank, and you unlock a certain emblem or whatever, and that gets put on, and that gets put on your 3D printed model, and it's like an achievement as well.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
It would just be absolutely fantastic. But now this will blow your mind because the company I was talking about before that does the avatars.
Do they still do that?
No, unfortunately not. Because when I saw this, I was like, I want to see if they still do that because I'm sure the people listening to this podcast would probably love that.
Yeah,
but
I love that.
What figure prints do have is Minecraft. You can upload an area of your Minecraft environment, and you can get it immortalized in these figure prints.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. I love this.
You basically just say, this is my area, upload it.
Yeah.
So you can, what it says is you can fully recreate your area in Minecraft. So you just say, this is my area, this is the area I want, 10 by 10 or whatever the size is. This is the area, bang, off you go. And then it then creates a 3D model of your area in Minecraft.
That is awesome. Really like it. Really like that idea. Does it work for console versions?
Don't know.
Oh, that's a shame. I bet it doesn't. Because my main sort of Minecraft world's on my Xbox One now, rather than my PC. But I wonder if it works for both or if it's just PC. Let's have a look. I'm just looking at the link now. You've got to use an exporter tool that requires Windows 7 Vista or XP. So then it won't do it on. Oh
no! So that means you've got to recreate Darrensville in.
You might because you could. You might be able to export it across to PC somehow. I don't know. But anyway, it's brilliant. Anyway,
it's a great idea.
I've got a universe on PC anyway. But
right.
I'm looking at the site now, and it's showing these models of the worlds that they've rendered in 3D, and it's stunning. It's just so Minecraft. It's brilliant. I love it. I wonder what the size is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a look at this website. Really like it.
I should have sent that to Claire. I was like, as your birthday present, I should go, Claire, look at this. Oh
man, something that would have been such a good present.
You'd have cried for days.
I would have been, and she's asking me what I want for Christmas. I'm like, I don't want anything, and I don't want her to waste the money. I'm like, just don't get me rubbish because there's no point.
Yeah.
It's like I'm happy as I am. But I will. I'm sort of like with the caveat of but I do want VR, and I'm going to need a PC to go with that. That's sort of covered from my birthday in May, anyway.
Yes.
But this is brilliant. What a! It's so good. It's a great idea. I hope they're making money from it.
Yes,
I
yeah,
really
like
do.
I say, this company Figure Prints. Again, I'll put a link into this into the show notes. But like I say, they were the ones that did They at one point they did avatars as well. So I might see if I can reach out to them on Twitter to see if they're still doing it or if they're doing it somewhere else, or maybe Microsoft shut them down. But and they also have a World of Warcraft as well, where you can take a World of Warcraft figure and have that immortalized in 3D.
Wow, awesome. Really worth a look, that website. I think it's fantastic. Really fantastic. I'm lost for words, man. It's just so cool. It's the coolest thing I've seen in ages. And
it's really good, isn't it? I'm bummed now because I really should have. I was thinking, I'm gonna have a chat with Claire, and I was just gonna say, look at this. But oh man, I should have done that.
Really, really love it. It's the best
Sorry,
thing I've seen. Yeah. Because she'll listen to that and she'll be like, "Grr, you could have told me." But the thing, it's so personal. Because you sort of, you go through sweat and tears building up your world in Minecraft. If you do it on survival, it's very difficult. If you do it on creative mode, it's still no picnic because there's a lot of planning and stuff to do. And you end up being very proud of the world that you've made. And it's just to have it like that as a little model. It's something that could adorn your desk so beautifully. I like that, mate. Thank you very much for pointing that out. I hadn't seen that or heard of it before. It's brilliant.
There you go. Like I say, we'll definitely put a link in the show notes.
Wow, I got a smile on my face. It's good.
Yes, I did it.
Absolutely brilliant. That I can't believe how good it is. I really want one. Or maybe I'll just get a 3D printer. But then you still need the export tool. I'll just have to buy it off them. I just noticed it just say on the FAQ how much is it, and they say prices vary for different worlds.
Yes, you probably start building it because you can only do like certain by certain. Like you'll go right, that's one, and now I want to do the next one, and then you just start recreating it. Your entire front room is your Minecraft world.
You can start stacking them on top of each other. I wonder what the area is. I'll have to find out. Well, if you reach out to them, you could ask them what the block area is that they're doing a snippet. Or you could count it on the blocks, but the pictures are a bit small. But yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool.
It's really cool, isn't it?
It is.
So, last piece of news is with you.
Yeah, this is just about some future events that are coming up that we all know about. PlayStation Experience is round the corner.
Woohoo!
And the keynote is set for Saturday. So on Saturday, the 5th of December, that's when Sony are going to start with their conference.
Yep.
And that's UK time, 6 p.m.
Yes, 10 a.m. San Francisco time.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, so that's when we're going to hear the keynote for the PlayStation Experience. Who knows what they're going to say?
Oh, it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, last year at the keynote, at the PlayStation Experience, it was in Vegas, EA went on stage and they gave away Plants vs. Zombies for free. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare.
I remember telling my friends list that, and they didn't know, and they were all like, oh, thank you, and they all got it.
Yeah, so, and in those, there was lots of announcements last year, lots of new stuff, so, as I say, PlayStation have had some really good announcements. They skipped Gamescom, but they made up with it with Paris Games Week at E3. So I'm really excited to see this. It's quite interesting. 6 p.m. in the UK, 7 p.m. in Central Europe. But I will just be like 6 p.m. on Saturday. I'm just going to be sat there watching on the big TV.
Yeah, I think I'm going to put some time aside for this as well. What am I hoping for? PlayStation VR news.
Yes,
maybe a bit. They've given us a rough date for that, but maybe they're going to drill down into that a little bit more. There's been some rumblings on the internet that Rockstar may feature.
Right,
it doesn't really fit with Rockstar's trend. They usually do things themselves, so I don't know if there's any truth in that. But it would be nice to see Red Dead Redemption 2 announced.
Yeah,
something like that.
San Andreas became available on the PlayStation 3 store, didn't it, today?
Yeah, what was that about?
There's some weird stuff happening. There were some trophies leaked for that port of Final Fantasy VII. It's like, it just feels like, and obviously with all the news that we've been going through, it feels like this one's going to be a little bit special. I hope so. We'll talk about it next week, but I really hope it's going to be special. I'm hoping for, I don't know, what am I hoping for? Mass Effect Trilogy re-imaged, and I'd play that.
Oh, that'd be cool. That would be cool. I wouldn't play it because I've already played it. But yeah, that would be good. That would be good. And I find that the last couple have left me somewhat underwhelmed, so I'm hoping that they've sort of kept everything, all the good stuff for this one.
Right. So I mean, this is it, isn't it? in San Francisco on Saturday, that keynote is just going to be full of PlayStation fans. The reason why people are there, it's not just industry types, this is PlayStation fans. These guys will whoop and holler at every single announcement. So if you want an announcement that's followed by, big cheers and things like that, this is it. This is the one. So maybe they are saving some doozies for Saturday.
Yeah, I like that. It gets me excited. I sort of get swept up in it when the crowd's excited. It gets me excited as well, even though it just doesn't it? You get into it. It's
well,
like, I love my hobby.
Yeah, look at that Nintendo one that we had at the Tokyo Game Show. There was barely a clap in the audience when someone came on stage. The Paris Games Week, it wasn't Nintendo, it was Sony, wasn't it? Sony was at Tokyo Game Show. There was barely a clap when someone came on. Even when Shuhei Yoshida came on, there wasn't much of a rumbling. Paris was just the same. It was almost like, yeah, whatever, I'm bored with this. And so I'm hoping this will be, I will be kind of just cheering at my TV.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. I wonder if they'll have any news on, I can't even remember the blooming name, Last Guardian.
Oh, maybe that's coming out in 2019 or something. Firewatch is available to play at PlayStation Experience. Ollie Moss, the artist on there, the lead designer, an all-round nice guy. He tweeted that Firewatch he's on his way to San Francisco, I think, and he said that the Firewatch is available to play on the store on the floor.
Wow, such a great art style. Really like that game. That's the sort of game I saw. You watch 2-minute trailer and you think, wow, I want that game. That was definitely one of them. It'd be nice to see some footage, a little bit of extra footage from, I keep wanting to say Shadow of the Colossus, but Last Guardian. I know Shuhei said they didn't want to show much because it's all about the story, but it would be nice to see a little bit more. It'd be nice to see if it was a bit more polished than what we did see as well. That would be really nice to see. Just a few seconds showing that it was more this gen rather than the last gen. Even though when it was first shown last gen, it was amazing. It's rusted a little from what we're used to now. We'll see. There's loads of things that they could say, and I'm crossing my fingers that they sort of do. So we've also got the Game Awards, which is on Thursday, 3rd of December. So that will have run by the time people will be listening to this. That's at 2 a.m. Friday, UK time. So it's 6 p.m. PST. But that's 2 a.m. Friday morning. So I'll probably be fast asleep, but I'll get to see it on Friday though. And as we know, we've got 10 world premieres coming to the VGAs. I wonder if they'll change the voiceover. I wonder what kind of style and format we'll have. Oh, it's so exciting! But one announcement Jeff Keighley dropped on Twitter was that we're having a special announcement from the Oculus founder, Palmer Luckey.
Ooh.
So, what is there to announce about Oculus? What's left to announce about Oculus? They've announced that there's a consumer unit. They've announced that it's coming. We've seen them being used in the wild on the dev kits. What is there to announce? The price and the release date.
That's it, isn't it? That's the only thing left, surely. And
surely it can't. There isn't anything else to announce. We know it's being made. We know roughly when it's coming out.
Yeah.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Launch games. They'll announce launch. They won't give you a price or a date, but they'll announce the games that are coming with it.
That would do. Or maybe they've had to split up the inverted commas exclusives through many media outlets. So they'll announce the launch. Say they've got 10 launch titles, and they'll announce one at the VGAs, and then every other media site will have their exclusive of one title. And then whoever pays loads of money to Facebook will get the final date and and price.
I wonder if, what we were talking about kind of like with VR, I wonder if Firewatch will be PlayStation VR compatible. Because that's got it written all over it, hasn't it?
It's another one that's got that sort of more sedate pace that would be a good fit, isn't it?
I think by this time next week, we'll be doing the VR podcast.
Wow, we may be.
Hopefully, we'll have so many VR announcements that will be enough to make you smile like you've just found a Minecraft 3D printed model.
Yeah, and VR could even change podcasting, because it could be me and you virtually together, live with a forum of avatars watching, for instance.
Wow. That'd be really cool.
People, you could log in and watch your podcast with you guys actually there. Weird, isn't it? So many adaptations we could use.
So many possibilities. And with that dreamy note, that's about it for this episode. So a huge thank you for listening. Don't forget, you can keep up with us at gamersofalostspark.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter. We're Lost Spark Pod. And we're also on YouTube and the Gamers of Lost Spark community over there on the PS4. Darren, where can we find you online?
Yeah, you can find me as Wythamator on PS4, Xbox One and Twitch. Dazagamer on YouTube, and at Daz Whittam on Twitter.
For me, I'm Chessman on Xbox Live. I'm PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network. Chessman UK on Twitter. If you have any feedback, please send it to our email address. That's feedback@gamersofalostspark.com. Also, if you're feeling generous, please leave us a review on iTunes. And that's about it. I will see you next week.
See ya.
Woo!